Exile in Flames by Cosmic Chaos. Summary. Isla, a half-breed of unknown origin, has been delivered a sentence meant as punishment, but it feels like her first true taste of freedom. She's exiled from her pack and, 1 year later, finds herself living in the wildlands while trying to learn how to use her new and unexpected abilities. She faces a few mishaps, but the true test of her growing power comes from a not-so-random encounter with the border patrol guards of the neighboring pack. What starts as a favor ends in her life being turned upside down. Can Isla survive the new obstacles in her world and open herself to something bigger than her life of solitude, or will she decide to protect the unusual, yet peaceful life she created after exile? Before we start, let us know in the comments where you're listening from and what kind of stories you enjoy most. We love hearing from our listeners.
Chapter 1. Isla, Exile, that's what they called it when they sent me away from my former pack. But let's call it what it really was. They were removing a half-breed from their lands to ensure their pure bloodlines remain untainted. Now, the funny thing is that they don't even know what species I am, just that I smell faintly of wolf and failed to shift on my 18th birthday. The joke's on them, though, since 2 days after I was exiled from their lands, my wolf came to me, but so did something thoroughly unexpected. You see, not only am I a wolf, but it seems the other part of my genetic makeup is from a witch. I never got the chance to meet my parents, and all anyone from my former pack was willing to tell me was that my father died less than a month before I was born, and my mother died giving birth to me. You can imagine the dark cloud that followed me, with that being my origin story. I've been called a murderer, cursed, worthless, and the pack never failed to point out my impure breeding. It's been almost a year now, but what they call exile, it feels a hell of a lot like freedom to me. It took less than a month for me to realize that no other pack would want me, and only a week after my last failed attempt to join a pack to find the small, run-down cabin that I turned into a home, and then several months more to get somewhat of a handle on my witch abilities. Okay, so I don't have a handle on them. I have a vague idea of how they work if you don't count the weird weather mishap where I accidentally made it snow in the middle of summer, or the time I accidentally exploded a boulder, or the time I accidentally set a squirrel's tail on fire. Aside from those few tiny mishaps, I think I'm doing rather well. I have to say, having my wolf out here is a godsend, making it possible for me to hunt and defend myself more effectively than I ever could in my human form. Being alone in the middle of the forest can get lonely at times, but about 3 months ago, something strange happened. I was walking in the woods, minding my own business, when I ran into an older woman. Yeah, that's right. Some crazy old bat was wandering in the woods alone. Not weird enough for you? Well, she had been carrying a satchel that contained only 3 books in it, nothing else.
Ah, exactly where they said you'd be. How about we chat over a nice cup of tea? I know she sounds nuts, absolutely certifiable. So, you want to know what I did? Well, I took her back to my cabin and shared a cup of tea with the old lady, of course.
Don't worry, she obviously didn't go all psycho serial killer on me, since I am alive to tell you this story now. Anyway, she told me that the spirits told her where to find me, and urged her to bring those books to me. I'm sure you're wondering what was in the books, and let me tell you, I wasn't prepared. The first was a book on channeling energy, harnessing it and using it to fuel your abilities, How to Be a Witch for Dummies book, if you will. The second was a book on healing both with and without witch abilities. Yep, a healing how-to guide. Now the third, that's the one that really hit me hard. It was a book on the history of my old pack that had detailed records of my parents' lives from when they joined the pack before I was born, and even records of their deaths. The information was limited, but it's still more information than I ever had before. The old woman, Margaret, ended up staying with me for almost 3 weeks, helping me learn to harness energy and use it properly for smaller spells like protection spells, conjuring fire without accidentally harming the local wildlife, and minor healing in case I do accidentally harm the local wildlife. She was a much-needed break in the monotony of my exile, but then I woke up one morning and she was just gone. So, after nearly 3 weeks of being shown what it's like to not have to be alone, I'm back to my life of solitude and magical mishaps. But let's not focus on that right now. After waking up and watching the sunrise this morning, I decided to take a walk in the woods to restock some of my herbs. Alright, so maybe I don't need to restock, but you can never have enough herbs, tonics, and salves for healing when you live alone in the woods, right? I spent the first few hours that I was out here near the meadow to the north, then decided to move to the stream to the northeast, where several different plants grow that I need for my salves. It's during these little explorations that I'm most thankful to have my wolf, because it makes picking up on pack boundaries a lot easier. For instance, less than 30 yards from the other side of this stream is the border for the Amber Claw pack. But even when I've gone close to their borders while gathering, the most I encounter are a few curious patrol guards who follow me to ensure I don't cross while watching my every move. Today seems no different, but then I see that damn chamomile plant growing right on the outer edge of their border. In this part of the forest, finding chamomile is next to impossible, which is why I refuse to leave here without harvesting that damn plant. I make my way across the stream, then take slow, measured steps over to the flowering plant. But just as I crouch down, I pick up a scent I don't recognize, one that's slightly different from the usual patrol wolves I've encountered. What are you doing? I glance up at the towering figure, easily noticing his 2 friends that are standing on either side of him. Obviously, the 2 wolves behind him are patrol wolves, while the one in the center seems slightly larger with a more noticeable aura, and, judging by their barely dressed state, they recently shifted, most likely so they could talk to me. Should I feel special? Nah, just gathering herbs for tea. Don't worry, I'm fully aware of where your pack's borders lie. The one who spoke gives a quick glance to the wolf on his left, who gives a subtle nod. Are you a healer? It shouldn't seem like such an odd question. Not really, but it does seem strange to me. Maybe it's because they're pack wolves and I'm a packless outsider, a rogue. Or maybe it's just because it's been close to a year spent with only one other person speaking to me like I was anything more than an inconvenient stain on the existence of all shifter kind. Yes, but not a well-trained one. The wolf on the right smirks, but the other 2 are, once again, looking at each other, obviously talking through a mind link. Finally, the one in the middle turns back to face me and gives me a strangely warm smile. Would you be willing to meet with one of our pack members and see if there's anything you could do to help her? Okay, this is weird. All of my supplies are at my home. He nods as if he expected me to say just that. We can bring her to you. The idea of walking away when there's a chance I might be able to help this mysterious wolf doesn't sit well with me, and I really hate that. Damn my healer instincts! After a moment of internal debate, I rattle off directions to get to my cabin before quickly harvesting the chamomile and rushing back home. I guess I had figured it would be a while before I heard from the wolves again, if I heard from them at all, so it definitely surprises me when I hear the sound of footsteps coming from the forest, roughly 50 yards from the front of my cabin. Less than 2 minutes pass before I hear the loud knock on my door that has me quickly pulling it open to find 2 of the 3 wolves from the border, plus an impossibly large wolf carrying a limp, pale she-wolf. But it's his powerful aura that has me pausing for a moment before coming back to my senses. Please, bring her in and lay her on the bed. I keep my tone steady, but inside I'm freaking the hell out. The giant wolf is undeniably high-ranking, definitely giving off alpha vibes, powerful alpha vibes at that. This is the Luna, and she's been in this condition for nearly a month. Her health hasn't improved, but it hasn't deteriorated either. We have no idea what caused her condition at this time. The same guard who spoke to me at the border delivers everything in a rushed breath. I give a stiff nod, then head into the kitchen to fetch any healing herbs I might need, enough to cover every base since I have no idea what's wrong with her. With my arms filled with various jars of dried herbs and salves, I head over to the bed and gently lay them on the blanket at the foot of it. The process of discovering the cause of her current health crisis is one of the easiest spells Margaret taught me, so I hover my hands a few inches from her skin, just as she showed me, and slowly guide them over her body from the top of her head to her toes, while channeling my energy through them. You said she's been like this for a month? The Alpha and guards all nod, but all I can manage to do is close my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Well, I can give you the what, but the who, why, and how are things I can't help much with. Your Luna has been given poison, and by the state of her, it's been given to her over a long stretch of time. As I explained to your guards, I'm not well trained, but I'll do what I can to help her. The Alpha gives me a stiff nod, but I can see the fury in his eyes as he and one of the guards step out of the cabin. Chapter 2. Isla. Under the watchful eye of the second guard, I get to work. It takes almost 40 minutes for me to draw most of the poison from her system, then I start mixing the tonic to help neutralize its effects. The final step is channeling my energy into her to help repair some of the more severe damage, which I've just finished with when the Alpha and guard walk back in. The Luna looks better. The guard by the Alpha's side comments with a soft smile and a hopeful look in his eyes. I healed what I could, but once she comes around, we can better assess any possible long-term effects. I would highly recommend that you not allow the Luna to be given anything to eat or drink that you haven't prepared yourself, at least until you find the one responsible for this. Normally, I would be less inclined to speak so freely in the presence of an Alpha, but these wolves are in my space and asked for my help, so that's what I'm giving them. Do you know what the poison is? When I pulled the poison from her, I siphoned it into a jar in case he asked this very question, but there's no way I couldn't figure out what it was just from the smell alone. Aconite and arsenic. The effects of the aconite should start to fade relatively quickly once her exposure to it has been cut off. It was actually such a low dose that a blood test likely wouldn't have detected it, but it was mixed with the arsenic, or maybe delivered after she had been exposed to the arsenic. So it worked to keep her wolf too weak to heal her, while the arsenic weakened her human body. Honestly, it's the possible effects of the long-term exposure to the arsenic that I'm most concerned with. I'll make you a tea that can be given to her twice per day to help her regain her strength so her wolf can have a chance at healing some of the damage the poison has done. I don't wait for a response before grabbing the jars off the bed and heading to the kitchen to prepare the tea for them to take with them. Thank you for helping her. I glance over my shoulder and am somewhat surprised to see the Alpha standing there. You're welcome. Were your pack's healers truly unable to treat her? I know wolf healers are more limited in their ability to treat such things, but I would think they should have, at the very least, been able to scent the poison in her system. Hell, what do I know? It's not like I had much contact with the healers in my old pack, so maybe my assumptions are way off base. They tried, but were unsuccessful. How long have you been on your own out here? I don't need to ask how he knows, since he obviously can smell only my scent here. Almost a year now. I seal up the jar with the tea mixture, then turn and hand it to him. Do you prefer solitude? That's highly unusual for a wolf. He's not wrong. Wolves are social creatures, but my wolf just so happens to agree that solitude is better than the life I had before Exile, and it's better than the rejection and hatred we found from other packs. Solitude sure beats being hated for your genetics. Being exiled for being a half-breed was, quite honestly, the best thing that ever happened to me. But it came with a unique set of challenges like no other pack wanting anything to do with me for being an exiled mixed breed. He seems surprised, but only slightly. You were exiled for your DNA? It's like his brain can't grasp the fact that such a thing would be possible, but as an alpha, he surely must realize that there are still many purist packs out there, too many. Yeah, but it's okay. The entire pack was pretty awful to be around. At least out here, I have freedom and can live my life without constant judgment and hatred from others. My life in the pack was nothing short of a prison sentence. I shrug and flash him a half-smile. What pack were you from? I could refuse to answer, not allow this conversation to continue, but for some reason, I want others to know of the cruel treatment that not only I received, but that so many others receive too. The fact that so many beings are still punished and mistreated for their genetic background, something they have absolutely no control over, it's pretty appalling. Black Claw. His eyes narrow and his brow furrows, but his eyes seem almost distant. You were exiled from Black Claw? And you said this was a year ago? I nod slowly, trying to figure out why his tone suggests there's some significance to his questions, and I notice the strange look he tosses in the Luna's direction, before returning his gaze to mine. Alpha Eros. He's the one who exiled you, correct? A soft growl escapes me at the mention of the bastard's name, which likely gave him his answer, but I vocalize it anyway. Yes, I'm a half-breed who, at the time of my exile after my 18th birthday, hadn't been able to shift. They assumed I was without a wolf, but even if I had shifted, the outcome for me would have been the same. Eros refused to risk me finding out that my mate was a member of his pack. Can't have me diluting the gene pool with my impure breeding after all. I roll my eyes and cross my arms over my chest to hide the way my hands are shaking with anger. You never considered finding another pack? His tone isn't judgmental, just curious, and it eases my anger some. Well, I tried to, but it seems Black Claw wasn't the only pack uninterested in having a half-breed in their pack. I mean, I was exiled by my pack and I'm not a full shifter, so it makes sense that the chances of finding a pack who would want to let someone like me join them were pretty slim. It's something I haven't thought much about since I found this cabin, but my first few days on my own, I definitely thought about it, and I definitely wanted to return to pack life rather than live alone. What if I told you that we would be happy to have you join ours? My mind stalls for a second as I try to figure out if he's telling the truth, but his tone and his eyes show nothing but sincerity. I don't know. Just because you welcome me, that doesn't mean the pack would. I can tell he has to be older. I would guess him to be around his late 40s or early 50s. With his age, he should understand that a pack may obey their alpha, but that doesn't mean they'll agree with all of his choices. Living in a pack where the members hate me won't be made better just because the alpha accepts me. Our pack is not like Black Claw. We judge each person based on character, not breeding. I assure you they would welcome you, and you would be far from being the only half-breed in the pack. Take some time to think about it. The offer will stand if you should decide to give it a try. He offers me a small smile to go with his huge offer, then turns and heads back into the room to sit with his mate, while I'm left to consider this unexpected turn of events. The Alpha, Luna, and their guards left 2 days ago, and I won't lie, his offer has been playing over and over again in my mind. There are many benefits to joining a pack if you're a wolf, or even part wolf. There's security, stability, and, the most important to a wolf, there's community. Unfortunately, there are drawbacks for people like me who were mistreated and cast out by their pack. While most wolves in a pack feel a connection to their pack and all of its members, I was only ever shown reasons to not trust or rely on them, and I never felt a connection to anyone. Still, the alpha's offer plagues me. I've been so wrapped up in weighing my options that I hadn't even realized that my little harvesting trip this morning led me straight to the stream that runs along the pack's border. It's like my body is drawn to it while my mind is trying to detail every single reason I shouldn't accept the alpha's offer. Even my wolf feels torn on what to do, and let me tell you, having two entities in a single vessel when they both are confused as hell, it sucks. Hey, how've you been? I look up and find the familiar guard watching me with a wide smile on his face, while the other two watch me with some kind of newfound curiosity. Good, I guess. How's the Luna? His smile widens as he takes a step closer to the border. She's doing great, thanks to you. I know you're still not sure about the Alpha's offer, but he asked me to keep an eye out for you and invite you to the pack barbecue tomorrow if I should happen to see you. This invitation seems strange to me because, well, I'm not like them. The minute I was exiled, I was officially considered a rogue, and packs don't just invite rogues onto their territory. Knowing this, I can't help feeling uneasy about the whole thing. Oh, I don't know, I'm trying to find a way to respectfully decline his offer, unwilling to insult the alpha, but then he cuts me off, likely sensing the attempt at rejection. The entire pack knows what you did for us, and most of them are pretty eager to meet the wolf who saved their Luna. We would all be honored to have you come and share a meal with us. Ugh! This is a bad idea, a really awful, terrible, bad idea. I open my mouth to decline the offer. I swear I'm going to decline it. But then, okay, what the hell? Okay? Really? Perfect. If you meet me here this time tomorrow, I'll personally escort you to the pack house. He seems genuinely happy. Come to think of it, all three of them look rather happy with the fact that I accepted the alpha's offer to eat with them. All right, I'll see you tomorrow then. I don't give myself a chance to make this awkward, or more awkward than it already feels. I give a small smile before turning and sprinting across the stream, not stopping until I'm back in the safety and comfort of my cabin. Chapter 3. Isla. When I woke up this morning, my nervousness kicked into high gear, but beneath it all there was something else. Another feeling, something uncomfortably close to excitement, or maybe it was just indigestion. I know it would be foolish to be excited, to get my hopes up that this will be anything more than another disappointing reminder that I don't belong. I spent over an hour trying to convince myself that I should just stay home, but my wolf, Ivy, was persistent, and I know she misses being around others of our kind. She's the only reason I decide to give this whole thing a try, pushing all thoughts of the many ways this might go wrong aside, and there are so many ways. I get dressed in one of the last clean pairs of pants I have left, black jeans, and a clean shirt, that's also black, then pull my unruly long black curls into a high ponytail before slipping on my boots. I catch my reflection in the dusty mirror over my dresser and nearly laugh at how pale my skin looks thanks to my dark hair and all black attire. The walk to the border seems to take longer than usual, but, as promised, the guard is waiting there for me with a bright smile on his face. This time there are 3 other guards there with him that I've never seen before, and while they look curious about the weird, purple-eyed rogue approaching the border, I see no hostility or judgment from any of them. I finally cross the stream, but stop just before my feet can touch the border. I was wondering if you were going to come. I honestly thought you might have changed your mind. His tone is laced with amusement, but I can see in his eyes that his comment is true. I guess I'm not as good at projecting confidence as I'd like to think I am. I've been telling myself that this is a terrible idea, but I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, or maybe I'm just really hungry. His amused expression quickly mixes with a heavy dose of sympathy, but he doesn't even know the half of what I've been through, so he can't truly sympathize with my situation. If I have my way, no one will ever know what I've faced in my past. Well, whatever the reason, I'm glad you decided to come. All right, let's go. You've been given full clearance by the Alpha and Luna. He waits patiently as I wage my internal battle until, finally, I take the first step, officially crossing the border. Part of me is waiting for them to attack, but they all remain in the same position, eyes watching, but calm. So, just how big is this pack anyway? The way he's watching me, I can tell he's waiting for me to bolt the second he delivers his answer. It's a valid concern since I was already reviewing all the reasons I should bolt before I even made it to the border. 460, just over that actually. Bolting definitely sounds like a viable option. Over 460 wolves, and I'm seriously considering just waltzing in there to have dinner with them. Damn, I must be losing my mind. I didn't get your name. His eyes are dancing with amusement as he chuckles softly and shakes his head. I don't know if he's laughing at my comment, or if it's the way my voice pitched a little as I said it, maybe both. No, you didn't. My name is Ethan and this is Mark, Paul and Tyler. Their names sound so unexpectedly normal. It's not like I thought they'd have sinister names or anything, but I didn't think they'd be so average and unassuming. I'm Isla. I add an awkward wave. You know, in case I wasn't already being weird enough. It's nice to officially meet you, Isla. Come on, let's get going. If we don't get there when they start serving the food, all the good stuff will be gone. You'd think we're all a bunch of starving beasts with the way we eat around here. Ethan's amused tone makes it impossible for me not to smile as I let him lead the way through the woods to the pack house. It's early yet, too early to truly make a decision about these wolves, but Ethan doesn't seem too bad so far. The walk takes 15 minutes, but when the large, 3-story cabin-style mansion comes into view, it was so worth it. Black Claw's pack house was nice, but this place is stunning and modern. As we walk around the side of the house, I can hear the thundering of loud voices and laughter, which has my nervousness returning full force, while my senses are overwhelmed by the sense of all the different wolves combined with the smell of meat cooking on the grills.
Ethan, who's your guest?
The female voice startles me, but not as much as the kindness of her tone. I know damn well these wolves can tell by my scent that I'm a rogue, yet every set of eyes that fall on me shine with nothing but curiosity. Hi, Lisa. This is Isla. Isla, this is Lisa, our pack's historian. She holds out her hand to me, and I hesitate for a few seconds before placing mine in it for a brief handshake. It's wonderful to meet you, Isla. I give her a nervous smile and nod, but can't offer a real response before Ethan places a hand between my shoulder blades and guides me further into the crowd. Every wolf we pass looks at me as we walk by, but they just look curious and that, well, it's something I don't really know how to handle.
Ethan! I've been looking everywhere for you. Where the hell were you? Wait, who's that?
Now this female's tone is one I'm all too used to disapproval with, more than a hint of disgust. Her tone is the same one used by every wolf in my former pack, and I can safely say that I didn't miss being talked to or about this way. Valerie, cut the crap. This is Isla and she's a guest here. The alpha invited her. She's the one who treated the Luna's sickness. We're showing her how much we appreciate what she did for our pack. I don't miss how he doesn't refer to her sickness as what it actually was, poisoning. I'm guessing they haven't found the one responsible yet, so I decide to just keep my mouth shut. So, we're outsourcing our medical needs to rogues now? And since when did we start inviting rogues to visit our pack? Her voice gets louder with each word until she's practically shouting at the end, drawing the attention of at least half of the people in this small, crowded field. Unfortunately, my attention to her rant is reduced to barely acknowledging her when a sudden, overwhelming scent hits me. It smells like the forest right after it rains, mixed with something kind of like citrus. My eyes scan the crowd to find the source, but then a voice cuts in that has my body tingling with awareness and has Ivy howling in my head. There you are. Is there a problem here, Valerie? I turn slowly, or maybe it just feels slow due to the unexpected anticipation of what this all means. But when my eyes land on the owner of that heavenly voice, my brow furrows and my heart clenches. The wolf who's responsible for that heavenly voice and the owner of that delightful scent is gorgeous with his dark brown hair and forest green eyes. But then he steps up beside Valerie and wraps his arm around her waist. I feel my wolf's anger and hurt, but I manage to choke back her growl barely. It seems your dad invited this rogue mutt to our celebration. She spits out the word rogue like it's acid on her tongue. Yet I'm still too focused on the fact the wolf, that's clearly my mate, is clinging to another she-wolf while acting as if he doesn't know what we are, but his heart rate and shift in energy tell me that he definitely knows. Ethan, care to explain why my dad is inviting some half-breed rogue to a pack gathering? My mate, the fucking prick, speaks in a voice filled with contempt. I have many options for how I could handle this, many of which I should absolutely not even consider, but this is when the alpha decides to make his appearance. You came and I see you've met my son. Welcome to the Amber Claw Pack. If it were under different circumstances, I would find the fact that he just now realized he doesn't know my name to be amusing. Unfortunately, the circumstances are exactly what I had feared they would be, worse actually, and I refuse to stay here any longer. My name is Isla, but it seems that coming here was a mistake. I should thank your son and his little friend here for making my decision in regards to your offer simple. If your son, my goddess-given fated mate, can't accept me, and acts with such cruelty and prejudice, then there's no way I can expect to be treated any differently here than I was in Black Claw. I'm glad your Luna is doing well, I truly am, but I think it would be best for everyone if I leave now. I appreciate the invitation, but I shouldn't have come here. I don't wait for a response before turning and making my way back to the border the way we came. I know Ethan is behind me, but I'm eternally grateful for his silence right now. I knew that coming here was a bad idea, but I had foolishly hoped that just maybe I could find a place where I belong. When I reach the border where the patrol is already waiting as I approach, I don't stop. In fact, I increase my speed and all but run back to the safety of my cabin as fast as my legs can carry me. Chapter 4. Isla. It's been 4 days since my failed attempt at visiting the Amber Claw pack, and Ivy, my wolf, has been a wreck. We opened ourselves up and took a chance on finding a place we could belong, only to have the small fragment of hope we had be crushed. Sure, I had already felt like this was the most likely possibility of how it would play out, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. This just goes to show that hope is a dangerous thing to hold on to. Not only were some members of the pack not accepting, but our own mate wasn't. Goddess, I honestly never thought I stood a chance of ever finding my mate, so this is definitely an unpleasant and unexpected turn of events. While Ivy has been heartbroken, I've just been angry. I feel like the goddess hates us and that we're being punished for some crime we didn't even commit. My faith is shaken, my trust obliterated, and my desire to exist in anything more than my current state of solitude is non-existent at best. In the last 4 days, I've refrained from going out to gather herbs, opting instead to remain in the vicinity of my cabin and practice my witch abilities. I've managed to avoid setting any more squirrels on fire, but I did turn a raccoon purple. It's a work in progress. Well, it's work. The progress part isn't exactly a factor right now, but I'm working on it. I think my success is definitely open to interpretation at this point. I've spent my entire morning trying to work on levitation, testing it on small objects like leaves and sticks, but the results so far have been a little surprising. So far, I have one tree that's currently upside down, a leaf that somehow grew to 10 times its original size, and a boulder that exploded again. So, like I said, surprising. Things are going okay-ish until I catch a scent that's thoroughly nauseating and unwelcome decay and rotting meat. In the time I've been here, I have yet to encounter another rogue, but I instinctively know that's what this smell is. Goddess, I hope I don't smell like that. I can tell they aren't coming right for me. In fact, they're arcing away from my cabin, moving themselves toward the east, which will take them to the border of the Amber Claw pack, only a few miles down from where the stream is. I should ignore it, let them all deal with the situation themselves. But then I remember Ethan and Lisa, the 3 guards I unofficially met, and the Alpha and Luna. None of them were cruel to me, and they don't deserve to come to harm just because they have the unfortunate luck of having some really shitty packmates. Ivy pushes me to move, my body running toward the stream while my mind conjures up every scenario of how this could play out. I reach the border in under 15 minutes and easily pick up on Ethan's scent that's quickly getting stronger, signaling his approach. Isla! Goddess, I've been wanting to go check on you since you took off. Are you okay? I'm so sorry for how those 2 treated you. I can't even believe I cut off his rambling, not wanting to hear him mention anything that involves my bastard mate. We have far more important issues to address than his bastard of an alpha to be. Ethan! A group of rogues is heading toward your eastern border, about 2 miles that way. I point in the direction I saw them heading, and his eyes widen then instantly cloud over as he speaks through a mind link. When they clear, I can see he's still worried about me, but he has bigger things to worry about right now. He quickly shifts into a large brown wolf, then takes off along the eastern border. I should leave now. I really should. But Ivy isn't having it because even though our mate clearly doesn't want or accept us, she sees the members of this pack as our people. Before I can stop her, She shifts into her powerful wolf form and takes off, following the border, but never crossing it as she makes her way forward, easily picking up on the rogue's scent and following it. I manage to catch up to the foul-smelling mongrels just as they're approaching the border, and I spot Ethan and a group of 15 guards waiting for them, along with a large black wolf that has an alpha aura, but it's not as strong as the alpha I met. When the wind shifts, I catch the various scents, but wouldn't it figure that the bastard black wolf is my damn mate? Ivy stalks toward the rogues who seem completely unaware of our presence, but then one of those bastards growls, his eyes locked onto Ethan with murderous intent. Ivy is pissed. This vile creature has the nerve to threaten one of the only wolves to ever show us kindness? Like hell! We're done hiding, done being ignored. Ivy lets out a sound that's part growl, part roar, and it certainly gets their attention, all of their attention. She takes slow, steady steps forward, and they must catch the anger radiating from us, because without any warning, they charge at us. 2 leap at us at once, one landing on our back as we manage to swipe our claws across the other wolf's side. It quickly goes from 2 wolves attacking me to all of them, and while I know we're sustaining injuries, I feel my anger turning to rage as my body begins to heat. I'm not combat trained, but Ivy seems to have abilities I wasn't even aware of. I hear the wolves on the other side of the border move closer, and I hear one of them let out a menacing growl before he leaps into the fray, tearing into the rogues without mercy, and I just know it's Ethan. My entire body feels like it's on fire, but then suddenly, it is on fire. I hear the loud yelps and whimpers as my blazing fur scorches and singes the bastards that were attacking me. Several of them begin rolling away from me, trying to extinguish the flames that were licking at their flesh and soothe the burns left behind. With every one of the rogues distracted by their new injuries, we move toward the wolf to our left, the one that had growled at Ethan, and without hesitating, we lunge at him, our jaws clamped tightly around his neck, our rage being focused into each movement as molten saliva drips from our mouth, burning the wolf's flesh and scorching the ground beneath us. With a powerful surge of force, we brought him down, the fight ending in an instant as his body collapsed to the ground. When we turn to face the others, Ethan is just finishing off the last of the bastard rogues, but his wolf's eyes are filled with worry. I know he sees my injuries, and part of me believes that's the cause of his concern, but another part of me worries that he's concerned that I might harm his people, that he might see me as a monster. I feel my body temperature lower as the flames die, and Ethan's wolf takes a slow step forward, which has Ivy instinctively taking a slow step back, keeping the distance out of fear. Standing in front of me, Ethan's large brown wolf shifts back to his human form, his hands held out as if approaching a wild animal, which fair enough. Isla, it's okay. I won't hurt you. You're hurt. Please let me help you. Ivy lets out a pained whimper, the sharp, aching pain more noticeable now that the adrenaline is wearing off. Until now, I hadn't realized yet how bad our injuries are, but I can feel them now. I can feel all of them. Hey, it's all right. Goddess, you're remarkable, Isla. Ivy tilts her head, another whimper tearing through us as the skin pulls at one of our many wounds. I can feel our energy slipping away, but it's almost like Ivy can't move. You're not bringing her onto the pack's territory, Ethan. You already defied my orders once. I wouldn't recommend doing it again, or you will be punished. Ivy's eyes track the voice of our mate, her heartbreak being overshadowed by her anger as she lets out a low growl. Whatever force had kept us immobilized seems to vanish, and Ivy takes a slow, hesitant step back. Your father would lose it if he heard you talking to her like this. You're the future alpha, for heaven's sake. She's the one responsible for saving your mother, and she just helped fight to protect our pack. Ivy looks at Ethan, her appreciation for him shining clearly in her eyes. Then she lets our one last pained whimper, before turning and heading home as fast as our injuries will allow. I'm done trying to hope for a future in a pack, done believing anyone will ever accept me. If my own mate doesn't want me, then screw him. I've spent most of my life alone already, and survived a life that was nothing short of hell, so I know that I'll survive this too.
Chapter 5. Lucian. I had always dreamed of what it would be like when I found my mate. So imagine my surprise when my mate, the one chosen for me by the goddess herself, is a rogue half-breed. I was furious, and, at first, so was my wolf, Cain, but I found out rather quickly that it was me that he was furious with, and not the goddess for giving us such an unworthy creature for a mate. The second I wrapped my arm around Valerie, he began growling and snarling in my head, damn near giving me a migraine. I was glad my mate left the gathering as quickly as she did, but Cain was pissed, and Ethan, that prick, was livid. Ethan accused me of acting out of character, and claims I have been for several weeks now. The nerve of him. Thanks to my mate's little announcement to my dad, the whole pack knows what we are to each other too. After the barbecue and a thorough ass chewing from my dad, I was only trying to use Valerie to distract myself from the situation. I just needed to clear my head, but Cain wouldn't even let me get aroused. Valerie tried to distract me, doing everything she could to pull me out of my thoughts, but I felt nothing. Instead, I was overwhelmed with a wave of discomfort and guilt that made me push her away before things went any further. That's why I woke up this morning in such a shitty mood, which only got worse when Ethan announced that rogues were approaching the eastern border. I barely made it there a few minutes before Isla showed up, and while I'm completely against having her as a mate, I have to admit that she has the most beautiful wolf I've ever seen. Its silver fur laced with intricate purple markings that looked like runes on her forehead and neck, but that could just be the mate bond talking. I was stunned when the fight first started and couldn't help watching in shock as the entire group of rogues attacked her. I ordered my men to stand down, to not cross the border. It was obvious that the others felt the same shock, since they all hesitated too before I even gave my command. But Ethan, my future beta, did end up crossing the border and jumping in to help her, directly defying me. Seeing her fight was insane, but it got crazier when I watched her fur erupt in purple flames, while her eyes turn into glowing purple orbs. We all finally jumped in to help, but she had pretty well debilitated them all with burn injuries. Cain became frantic when the flames that engulfed her faded, revealing the bloody, torn flesh beneath. Her injuries looked awful, and if Cain had his way, we would have rushed her right to our personal suite to tend to them. But instead, I forced him back, shifted, then opened my mouth, and pissed him off even more. After Isla took off, Cain retreated completely, unwilling to even surface so I could shift and run back, which gave Ethan plenty of time to fume and stew over his anger toward me. His silent rage lasted for at least 10 minutes as he paced back and forth along the border, and I know he was waiting to calm down before saying anything. But I'm not a fool. I know he has something to say. Ethan is my future beta and my closest friend, so he's never afraid to put me in my place or tell me when I'm screwing up. And does he ever tell me, "I can't believe you. She not only saved your mother, but she alerted us to the approach of a group of rogues who clearly planned to attack us. Then she helped us fight them. Even with all she's done to help us, you treated her, your fucking mate, like she's nothing but an unwanted and unworthy dog. You've not only disgraced the goddess, but you've disgraced our entire pack. An alpha leads by example, and if this is the example you're choosing to set, then you need to find yourself a new beta. She's a kind, beautiful, and amazing wolf, but from what you've proven so far, you could never be worthy of her." I'm stunned, absolutely in shock. Hell, I can't even get my mouth to function as he turns and walks away. Ethan and I have had our share of disagreements, and even a few fights, but never has he reacted this explosively. Never has he threatened to reject his position as the future beta. I had thought I was done dealing with the ass chewing for the day, hell, for the year. But when I arrive back at the pack house, my dad is waiting for me. One look at him and I know he's going to lay into me, so I brace myself for impact. Have you ever had a parent look at you like they're secretly hoping their fiery rage would just set you ablaze? Well, that's the look he's giving me, and while I'm next in line to be alpha, that look is, admittedly, rather terrifying. First, you insult your mate in front of the entire pack, a pack that I had offered for her to join. Then you insult her again after she helped defend the pack you are expected to take over? Not only that, but you allowed her to leave when she was injured, refusing to even allow her to come here to be treated after she was injured defending your people? She's your mate, Lucian. She's your soul's counterpart, the balance to your chaos, the strength to your weakness. She's the soul the goddess chose specifically for you, and you've completely disrespected her from the very start. I've been angry with you in the past, but this is the first time in your life that I've ever been truly disappointed in you. An alpha leads by example, guides his pack, and encourages their kindness and acceptance. Yet here you are, insulting not just a wolf that I invited as a guest, but your goddess-damned mate. He punctuates the end of his rant by slamming his fist down on the table in the foyer, splintering the wood and causing the vase and flowers that were resting on it to crash to the floor. She's a rogue, Dad. What the hell do you expect me to do? Make a half-breed rogue my Luna? I already know his answer before he speaks it, but that doesn't stop him from shouting it anyway. Yes, I sure the hell do. Do you even know why she's a rogue? Her entire pack shunned her for her impure breeding, something she has no control over. They were so ashamed of her that they exiled her right after she turned 18. Unlike you, I did some research. I learned about your mate. She was formerly a member of the Black Claw pack, Lucian, the same pack that tried to sell off your own mother to secure resources for their pack, without any regard for the fact that she was their alpha's sister. They would have taken her from me had the council not stepped in. I can only imagine the evils she faced, and now, her own mate has proven himself to be no better than the vile creatures from that accursed pack. You're no better than that soulless, disgusting bastard. I'll not let an intolerant prick take my place here to lead my people. Unless you can prove to me that you're capable of being the alpha this pack deserves, I'll have the council assign a worthy alpha when I retire. As it stands right now, you're unworthy of such a responsibility. Without another word or even another glance in my direction, he leaves. He's right. You know they both are. It's the first time Kane has spoken to me since yesterday. His preferred form of contact since the pack gathering has been growls, snarls, or silence. I can't have a weak mate, Kane. I need a strong Luna, not some rogue. Our mate is strong. You judged her before you even knew her. If anyone is weak here, it's you. Hell, you find your mate and the first thing you do is insult her, chase her off, then attempt to bed another. I wish the goddess had given me a more worthy human. You're a disgrace. And until you can behave like the alpha you're meant to be, you can live your life as a damn human. If you think a half-breed is bad, wait until you see how much respect the pack has for the future alpha, who not only shunned his mate, but can't shift. You wouldn't dare. Haha, watch me. I feel the mental block slip into place, leaving me feeling weak and broken with the absence of his strength. Losing connection with part of yourself is an unbearable feeling, but even more so for an alpha. I stumble to the stairs, my muscles aching from the fight and every inch of me feeling like it was run over by a damn boulder. I almost reach my door on the 3rd floor when I hear a mind link cut in. I need 3 volunteers to go to Isla's cabin and check in on her. It's my father's voice, but it sounds tense, much more so than normal. I'm going. It's honestly no surprise that Ethan is the first to volunteer. I'm going too. Dr. Matthew's voice. Now that surprises me. But then I hear a voice that I'm still not used to hearing, after over a month of her silence. My mom. I'm going as well. Doc, Ethan, meet me and your Luna, at the border, by the stream in 15. Yes, Alpha. The response is immediate, and spoken in unison. Part of me wants to go with them, but I refuse to give in. I know I need to sort shit out because I've worked too damn hard to become Alpha just to lose it all now. And I'm sure the hell not willing to spend the rest of my life without my wolf. Would Kane really do that to me? If you asked me that yesterday morning, I would have said no. But now? Well, now I have no doubt he would. Enjoying the story so far? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 6. Lucian. 3 hours pass without any word from the group who left to check on Isla. But I've been trying to convince myself that I only care because I'm worried about my pack members, especially my mom and dad. It sounds plausible, but deep down I know there's more to it. I, of course, blame the infernal mate bond for making me feel the way I do. After a relaxing bath that worked wonders for my sore muscles, I head down to the dining hall 15 minutes before they're due to serve dinner. I hadn't considered how my treatment of my mate would affect the members of my pack, but as soon as I see Jenna, one of the kitchen staff, walk out and all but drop my plate on the table in front of me, it's clear something's amiss. "Is there a problem, Jenna?" When she turns to face me, she's giving me a cold stare, her eyes locking onto mine in a direct show of defiance, and as she speaks, her tone and glare are sharp and unforgiving. "Of course not, sir. I just figured you wouldn't want a lowly half-breed touching your plate any longer than necessary. I must admit, it's a shame to see that this pack is built on lies and deceit. I was offered a place here as a means to escape the prejudice and hatred forced on me by my own pack, and I was assured I could live a peaceful life here. It seems those promises were nothing but lies. I would appreciate it if you could schedule an appointment for me and my daughter. We would like to file a request for immediate pack transfers." She doesn't wait for a response before turning and storming back into the kitchen, with the door swinging closed behind her. "Well, that was a little dramatic, don't you think?" The sound of Valerie's voice grates on my nerves, but it seems that life isn't done torturing me yet. Valerie sits in the chair to my right, much too close for my comfort. "Lucian, I would like to schedule an appointment to file for a transfer as well. Please notify your father that my written request will be on his desk by morning." Aggie, one of the pack clinic's eldest nurses, is the next to deliver a blow I wasn't prepared for. "Aggie, that really isn't necessary. You've always been treated with respect and kindness here, haven't you?" She folds her arms over her chest, not offering an ounce of respect to me. "Yes, but clearly things have changed around here. I don't wish to be a part of a pack where a wolf, let alone an alpha, can be so cruel and show such prejudice toward others, let alone their own mate. If a mate can't be accepted because of mixed breeding, then how can I expect a mutt like myself to be?" I'm left speechless as she storms off too, returning to her seat at the end of the table. As if this hasn't already been the shitty cherry on top of an already shitty day, a frantic voice tears through the pack link that has me and my wolf on high alert. "Aggie, Olivia, Marco, I need the surgical room prepped and ready to go immediately." Doc's voice is strained, which has the requested wolves fleeing the dining hall at lightning speed. I don't even think as I get up and stomp my ass out of the dining hall to follow the others. Without Kane's enhanced speed, it takes me almost 15 minutes to get there, and by then, my dad, Mom, and Ethan are already there, all three looking a little paler than usual. "Hey, what's going on?" Ethan growls in response to my question, but my dad chooses to answer me, though it's not the answer I was expecting. "Don't worry about it. If Doc can't work some serious magic in there, it looks like you'll be rid of your mate problem. That should make you happy, right?" His cold tone is only outdone by his icy, angry glare. "I called in a favor. I just hope she gets here in time." My mom's voice is weak and even breaks at the end. It feels like hours pass before the clinic doors burst open and an old woman walks in with a satchel slung over her shoulder. Her hair is pure silver, and her eyes are a deep amethyst purple, a few shades darker than Isla's eyes. "Ariel, you said you brought her in. Where is she?" Her frantic tone makes me realize that not only does my mother know this woman, but Isla must know her too. There's no way to fake that level of concern. "She's in the surgical room and it's really quite awful, Margaret. Come, I'll take you to her." My mom walks right through the doors to the surgical wing, and Margaret follows right behind her, leaving the rest of us confused as hell. My dad is the first to speak, and he does so as he stands up and makes his way to the door they both disappeared through. Like hell if I'll be sitting around here waiting to see what happens. He pushes through the doors and Ethan quickly follows with me trailing slowly behind them. When we get to the large window that looks into the room where they're trying to save Isla's life, my mate's life, we all stop and stare inside. The old woman, clearly a witch, is hovering her glowing hands over Isla's injuries, the ones that certainly didn't look this bad in her wolf form, and Mom is standing with Doc and the others on the side of the room as they watch her, quite literally, work her magic. I hear we have some transfer requests that need to be processed. My dad's voice is cold, almost emotionless. Aggie and Jenna informed me at dinner. I have to fix things. I can't let this pack fall apart. I wait for my dad's response, but it's Ethan who speaks instead. You are the reason this pack is falling apart right now. You were cruel to your mate in front of the entire pack. You showed prejudice toward a wolf who was considering joining the pack. You made no attempt to hide that you were willing to jump in bed with another female right after finding your mate, and then you insult her breeding, while directly spitting on the gift you were given by the very goddess we trust and worship above all. I really hate when he's right. You were brought up around wolves of every breed and taught to accept everyone, regardless of their genetic background. I don't know when you developed this hatred and intolerance, but your behavior is absolutely shameful, son. That poor creature sacrificed her safety for our people, possibly even her life, yet all you've managed to do is show her every reason we're not worthy of her sacrifice. Before I can speak, the woman removes her hands, then leans down and whispers something into Isla's ear that makes Isla's now glowing purple eyes shoot open as she gasps in a deep breath. Thank the goddess. Ethan's relief feels like a physical weight being lifted that even makes the air in the small room around us feel lighter. We watch as the old woman and Isla carry on what appears to be a somewhat heated conversation that ends with Isla sitting up on the surgical bed and swinging her legs off the side, while the old woman shakes her head at her and tries to encourage her to lay back down. Next thing we know, my injured mate is sliding off the bed, her bare feet making contact with the cold tile floor, as her legs barely seem steady enough to support her own weight. Then she heads to the door with the old woman at her side, and my mom following behind them, while Doc and the others trail several steps behind. Isla, you were on death's doorstep only minutes ago. You should let yourself rest, even if only for a night. The old woman's voice is pleading with her to listen, as she helps secure a blanket around my mate, but Isla quickly shakes her head, even while she's holding onto the old woman's arm for support. No, I'm going home. I can rest there. There's no way around it. This is my fault. And right now, I can't even figure out why the hell I was having such an issue with the idea of her being my mate to begin with. I've never been cold or judgmental towards someone, simply because of their breeding. So why now? My anger when I caught her scent, the scent I've been waiting to find for 4 long years. It makes no sense. I didn't feel an immediate connection like everyone said I would, and I felt instant anger before I even detected her mixed breeding or saw her eyes, the only physical feature that would have given her unique breeding away. Her scent is undeniably wolf. So what the hell triggered such an awful reaction from me, and why am I not feeling that anger now? Hell, right now, I'm feeling a lot of things. Sadness, worry, shame, fear, but not anger. I'm sending Ethan and Neil to stand guard for the night, just in case there are any more of those mongrels lurking around. My dad's voice comes out in a low growl and leaves no room for argument. Not that I think she has the energy to argue right now anyway. She gives a weak nod, then Ethan sweeps her into his arms, which has Kane growling in my head, and continues toward the main doors with Margaret at their side, while the rest of us are left standing in silence. Chapter 7. Lucian. After last night's events, I locked myself in my room, trying to process how the hell things got to this point. I had always longed for my mate, so why is it that the second I found her, my mind and body automatically felt revolted by the idea of having her? Things aren't adding up. To top it all off, I've looked back over the last few months and noticed my aggression level being off the charts. I had blamed it on stress back then, the weight of my mother's condition and pressure of learning to be an alpha, but now I'm not so sure. This is why I find myself making my way to my dad's office, hoping he can help shine light on things for me, or knock some sense into me. I'll take anything he can offer right now. Come in. His gruff voice comes before I can even knock, making my nerves spike, but I enter his office anyway. Dad, can we talk? It's impossible to miss the dark circles under his eyes, which makes me feel like complete shit for coming to him with my crap now. My dad spent the last month falling apart while trying to run a pack, care for his mate, and be there for everyone else. Now he's dealing with my shit on top of worrying about my mate, something that should have been my responsibility, not his. What do you need, Lucian? I have a lot to get done, and still need to go see Isla before the evening training. He doesn't sound cold, just defeated. Something's wrong, Dad. I don't know what it is, but when I met Isla, I didn't feel the connection of the mate bond. I recognized her scent, but instead of enticing me, it revolted me. Kane felt our connection right away, but me, I felt anything but attracted to her scent. I've been quick to anger lately. My focus is off, and then the whole thing with me pushing Isla away because of her breeding, that's not me. You know that's not me. By the end, I'm practically begging him to believe me, to see the issue, and help me find a solution. It's wrong of me to put more pressure on him. I know it is, but I wouldn't trust anyone else with this information, and I wouldn't trust anyone else to help me sort it out. When I first took your mother to Isla, she told me someone had been poisoning her. Slowly, and only enough to render her broken, but not kill her. Weakening an alpha's mate will inevitably weaken the alpha. Ethan and I have been discussing it, and we believe someone was trying to force a shift in the leadership of the pack, but we don't know who or why. My brain trips over the information, stalling out and leaving me staring with wide eyes and a slack jaw. Someone had been intentionally poisoning my mom, and no one bothered to say anything to me? Do you think she would be able to tell us who did it, or maybe give us some clues if she had access to the pack grounds? Like maybe some kind of tracking spell or something? Can witches do that? He rakes his hands through his hair, his face suddenly falling and making him look 10 years older than he is. It's something I had considered, but with the way things are now, I doubt she'd be willing to come here. Between everything going on behind the scenes here, the rogue attack, Isla's condition, and then these damn transfer requests that poured in overnight, I don't even know when I'll have time to talk to her for anything longer than a quick check-in. I look at the stack of transfer requests on his desk, and guilt churns in my gut. This is my fault too. I did this, and now I need to fix it. I'm going to go talk to her. I need to fix this. He gives me a strained look, and I know he wants to tell me no, to refuse to let me go. But he also looks too damn worn down to fight me on it. I don't know if that's such a good idea, Lucian. I don't let him finish. I can't. I at least have to try, Dad. I'll be back. I don't wait for a response before hauling ass out of his office. I nearly reach the bottom of the stairs when I hear a voice I hadn't expected to hear again anytime soon. Are we really going to her? Yes, Kane, we are. Then hurry the hell up. I'm trying. You need to understand that she may not be happy to see us. No, she won't be happy to see you. Our mate hasn't even had the chance to properly meet me. We need to fix this. Did you hear what Dad said? Yes, and I want to find the wolf responsible so I can tear them to pieces. If we're going to find out who did it, we need Isla. Kane, do you think someone was doing something to us too? I didn't realize it until last night that things have seemed off. Oh, I noticed. I tried mentioning it to you weeks ago and you practically bit my head off. Don't you recall me blocking you for nearly 2 days? Shit. What if someone did something to us and we lose her because of it? No, we're not losing our mate. You're too slow. Shift and let me take us there. I'm more than happy to hand Kane the reins, letting the shift consume us as he tears off through the woods, moving faster than I ever knew he could. It takes just over 30 minutes to reach her small cabin, even with Kane's increased speed, but I'm relieved to see Ethan standing outside. What the hell are you doing here? His voice is a deep growl, and while Kane would normally not tolerate such behavior, he knows as well as I do that I deserve this. Ethan is defending our mate the way we should have been doing from the start, so if anyone is to blame for his anger and outright defiance, it's me. Kane quickly steps back, letting me shift and leaving me standing bare in front of my mate's cabin. I need to see her. I need her help, and even if she won't forgive me or help me, our pack needs her help. Ethan stares at me, studying me, then finally gives a stiff nod and tosses a backpack at my feet. There's a pair of shorts in there. Put them on before you try talking to her, and if you dare say one word to insult or hurt her, I'll personally kick your ass. Kane growls in my head, but I know it's directed at me. His way of letting me know that he'll let Ethan kick my ass, and I have no doubt he'll do it with a damn smile. Thanks, Ethan. I promise you, I'm not here to cause problems. I just need to get answers. I rush to put on the shorts, then waste no time knocking on the door. I had expected to see my mate on the other side when the door opens, but instead, it's Margaret standing before me. The old woman gives me a once-over, assessing me and looking completely unimpressed. "Oh, you've got yourself into quite a mess, haven't you, young alpha? Well, get in here, we don't have all day." She waves me in, then steps inside, going straight for the small living room. I walk inside, my hesitation on full display while Margaret makes herself at home on the worn couch, looking too damn calm in comparison to the explosive chaos inside me. I was hoping she cuts me off, clearly not needing an explanation, or maybe just not wanting to hear one. Yes, I know. The young alpha has been entranced. Now, sit down and let's see how far the enchantment runs. I flop down on the couch beside her, slightly shocked by the fact that she confirmed my worst fear about this situation. I was what hexed. She chuckles softly, but nods. Yes and no. An enchantment is a little different and more complex. A hex curses the recipient. Its purpose is to cause suffering. An enchantment is used to create thoughts or emotions that would not otherwise be present, to manipulate and control one's will. An enchantment can warp and twist emotions and senses, something I can see you've already been experiencing. The good news is that the enchantment used on you is a powerful one and must be renewed frequently to continue to be effective. Judging by your present temperament, it seems the person using it has failed to reaffirm the enchantment before it could begin to wear off. My head is spinning, and Cain is on the verge of pushing forward, determined to know who would do this to us. Is there any way to track the person responsible? Can you remove the enchantment? Margaret's expression tells me I won't like the answer, yet the voice that speaks isn't the old woman, but the one I want to hear the most, even if I don't deserve to. It's possible to track the one responsible, but complicated. I look over and find her leaning against the doorway to a room that I assume is the bedroom, her arms folded over her chest, eyes downcast, and everything about her posture is guarded, closed off and cold. She's right. It is possible, but it's far more complicated than most spells. Isla nods her head, her amethyst eyes still focusing on something on the floor rather than looking at us. Okay, what would we have to do? Margaret sighs loudly, but her attention is on Isla. She would have to do it. I'm still too weak from healing her, so my abilities are too dulled to pull off such a spell. Isla, you'll need to gather the herbs for the Veil tonic. As for removing the enchantment, a simple cleansing tonic should do the trick with it already being weakened. Isla nods her head, then pushes off the door frame before disappearing into the room, the door slamming closed behind her. Chapter 8. Lucian. She hates me. Margaret chuckles and shakes her head, clearly amused by my own self-inflicted suffering. I know I deserve far worse than her laughter, but knowing it doesn't make it sting any less. Oh, how much easier it would be if she did, young alpha. She's hurt, and with her already having so many reasons not to trust others, you simply gave her a few more. Hate is a strong emotion, but so is love. If she hated you, it would be much easier to push that boundary, turn hate into something beautiful. As it stands, she doesn't hate you. It's far more complicated than that. She doesn't trust you, and she feels betrayed by you. Her mate, the one meant to make her whole, cast her aside, then dangled another female in front of her, pouring salt in the already gaping wound. You didn't make her hate you, young alpha. You broke her. I usually appreciate directness, but I feel like she purposely aimed each word to inflict the most damage, and she damn well succeeded. I know I deserve it. I deserve worse, if I'm being honest. What can I do to fix this? I don't care that my voice reveals my desperation. Let her hear it. Let them all hear it. For all I care. She gets up and crosses the room to the kitchen, retrieving a vial off one of the shelves, then returns and hands it to me before returning to her spot on the couch. That, unfortunately, is a journey you must travel alone. Redemption is achieved through small battles, not great wars. Now, drink that up, I swear. The riddle is meant to piss me off, but rather than show her how angry and frustrated I feel, I give a curt nod, then open the vial and down its contents. I stand the second the bedroom door opens, and I watch as Isla walks out in a black sundress. My breath catches in my throat and I'm openly staring at the stunning creature, my mate. Her scent hits me like a tidal wave, making my legs feel weak and my heart race. The exact reaction I had expected to feel the first time I met my mate. The herbs I need are only about a mile out, so it shouldn't take me long to get them and get back here. Can you get started on mixing the other ingredients while I'm out? Isla's eyes focus only on Margaret, and I wish more than anything that she'd just spare me a glance. See for herself how much I regret everything I've put her through, because I know my guilt and regret are being openly displayed. I couldn't hide my pain if I tried, but I don't even want to. I want her to see it all. I'm coming with you, I mean. Can I please come with you? I catch myself quickly, knowing I can't be demanding if I want any chance of even beginning the process of getting her to consider forgiving me. The second I see her nod her head, my whole damn face lights up with a bright smile, though she doesn't see it with her eyes locked on the floor again, and her expression remains guarded. I mind link Ethan to let him know what we're doing, and it's not surprising when he doesn't sound so sure about letting me go with her. But he doesn't fight me on it either. Isla wasn't kidding when she said it was only about a mile-long walk, but it shouldn't surprise me that she knows the area so well. Neither of us spoke the whole way here, and, while I would have loved to hear her voice, I also enjoyed just being near her. This is how the mate bond should have felt the second I scented her. She deserved for it to make me react the way I longed to react now. Her scent, honeysuckle and a hint of cloves, is intoxicating in the best way, not repulsive as my enchanted mind made me believe. It took her 10 minutes to gather the required herbs, and now we're heading back, the silence still filling the space between us, a space that's much too vast for my liking. We make it close to a quarter of a mile, before I notice her body tense up, and her eyes glaze over slightly, before she rolls her eyes and shakes her head in annoyance. Issues with your wolf? She lets out a humorless chuckle and nods her head, non-stop. She's an annoying little shit, that's for sure. I had 17 years of being the only one in my head, and now I've spent just over a year being invaded by a saucy wolf with anger issues, and an attitude that just won't quit. I honestly didn't expect her to say so much, but I'm so damn glad she did. I hope like hell this is my chance to gain some insight into the gorgeous creature the goddess gifted to me. Kane's the same way. His favorite form of torture is blocking our connection when I say or do something to piss him off. Apparently, it's funny to punish an alpha blood wolf by forcing them to experience life as a weak human. I roll my eyes, but don't miss the look of pure amusement on her face. Ivy likes to nag at me when I screw up. She still brings up all the mishaps from when I started training my witch abilities. The mention of her witch abilities makes her entire body tense, and I hate it. I don't even have to ask what's wrong because I know she's thinking that bringing it up will make me flip the switch and start being a dick to her again since she drew attention to her mixed genetics. Do I dare ask what kind of mishaps? She visibly cringes, but a soft laugh flows out of her that has my heart completely melting for her. This mate bond stuff is no joke. Well, nothing too bad. I mean, I did turn a raccoon purple, made an entire boulder explode twice, and accidentally turned a tree upside down. Oh, and there was one time where I somehow set a squirrel's tail on fire. So, yeah, just a few little mishaps, nothing too serious. I can't even help it. I burst out laughing, and she doesn't hesitate to join me. There's still tension between us, but it's much less suffocating now. I can see why your wolf finds it amusing. Have you got a better grasp on your power now? Her nose scrunches up as she seriously considers my question. Yes and no. I can control my healing ability and many of the more non-combat related abilities, but I suck at controlling fire. I tend to set myself or the things around me on fire like the poor squirrel. Kane sends me the image of her wolf engulfed in purple flames, and my question pours out of me before I can stop it. Yet you used it quite well when you fought the rogues, didn't you? Her head shakes, and her brow furrows, which leaves me feeling confused. Unfortunately, no. I wasn't trying to turn into a four-legged ball of flaming fury. But it just happened, I mean, sure, it worked, but it was unintentional. True magic is worth nothing if it can't be controlled with intent. She may not see how talented and amazing she is, but I sure the hell do. I honestly can't believe that, after everything I put her through, she's actually here with me, giving me insight into who she is. I don't deserve this moment, but I have to admit that I'm absolutely thrilled to have it. Well, I thought you were pretty amazing. Look, I'm sure you heard me talking to Margaret. She nods her head, but her body is tense once again. I don't want the tension between us to return, but I also know I need to try to make her see that the wolf she met before, that wasn't me, not really. I did. She said you were under an enchantment that's faded. The tonic should have cleansed the remaining effects, and once we sort all this out, we can see about creating a charm to help prevent you from falling victim to another enchantment in the future. Her expression is guarded, and I wish I could read her mind, to know what she's thinking right now. It's not an excuse, but how I acted toward you, that's not how I am. It's not who I am. I spent my whole life longing to find my mate, and that longing only intensified over the last 4 years. The way things happened when we met, you deserved better than that from your mate. I can be better than that if you'll give me a chance to prove it. I know that's asking a lot of you, and I have no right to ask at all, but Goddess help me. I am asking, Isla. I'm asking for a chance to show you who I really am. She releases a heavy sigh, but her expression is more thoughtful than strained now, and I hope like hell she's genuinely considering giving me a chance to fix all the things I screwed up. Why don't we see where we're at after we figure out who the hell is behind all this? It's a logical suggestion, and it's enough to give both me and Kane a sliver of hope. And, for now, that's enough. As soon as we get back to the cabin, I sit back and watch as Margaret and Isla get to work on preparing some weird potion that will hopefully help us find out who's behind everything going wrong in our pack, so I can finally work on fixing the mess with my beautiful mate.
Chapter 9. Isla, I hadn't planned to see Lucian again, especially not so soon. But then he went and showed up at my cabin. He surprised me when he asked to accompany on my herb-gathering expedition. But then, he went and surprised me again when he asked me to give him a chance to show he's not really the monstrous bastard he was when we met. I heard everything Margaret said to him, and I know that if he was truly under an enchantment, as she said, then he wasn't responsible for his words and actions. If that's the case, I really can't blame him, but it doesn't erase the hurt left behind by everything he said to me and the way he treated me. Ivy wants to forgive him. Hell, she wanted to forgive him the second we overheard the conversation between him and Margaret, but I learned long ago to not be so trusting. Margaret and I finished the Veil tonic fairly quickly after we got back, and she walked me through the process of how to properly perform the spell several times before seeming confident enough to send us on our way. Lucian, Ethan, and I left nearly 30 minutes ago while leaving behind Neil to protect Margaret, just in case. With us having shifted to make the journey back to the pack, we're just arriving at the pack house only an hour before dinner. We both shift by the bushes behind the pack house, and Lucian hands me a shirt and shorts that smell like him, and even turned his back to give me privacy while I dress. All right, I need to go to the Luna's room. Lucian nods and motions for me to follow him as he leads the way up to the 3rd floor, and straight to his parents' room at the end of the hall. The room is beautifully decorated and has the perfect balance of masculine and feminine, making the room seem more inviting than I had expected it to be. I drop to my knees in the center of the room and begin pulling the items I need from my backpack, the last of them being the Veil tonic. What will that potion do? I find his curiosity mildly amusing, a stark contrast to the disgust and hatred he had first shown me. But I know the explanation may be less than comforting for him. It'll allow me the ability to separate my human spirit from my body long enough to breach the veil. I'll be able to reach out to the spirits there and speak with them about the situation with the Luna and the enchantment, see if any of them saw anything or have heard anything about it. If anyone will have information on the subject, it would be the lingering spirits here. It's not usually the first option, but it's the best option if we want answers quickly. His expression says it all. He's not happy with this option, but he has to know it's the only option we have if we want to get answers before anything else can happen. I mix the herbs and oil into the small metal bowl I had packed, then use the dagger Margaret gave me to cut my palm and spill the blood over the herbs before pulling out a scrap of cloth to tie around my hand. I won't lie, the fact that his only concern is my safety it's touching. I've never tried it, but I think so. Ivy seems confident that it'll work. He drops to his knees beside me and lets out a ragged breath. Okay, but I'm going to be right here with you. There's no fighting the smile his protective tone provokes. Then I guess I'll see you on the other side. I give him my best attempt at a reassuring smile before removing the cap off the vial and downing the tonic before I can second-guess my choice. I feel my heart rate slow, and a fog settles over my mind as warmth wraps around me. This doesn't feel like death. It feels like slowly drifting asleep. It's peaceful and calm. When I open my eyes after the fog begins to lift, the world around me is filled with muted colors, and there's a faint sound constantly thrumming in the background that sounds almost like static, but not quite. I can hear voices, though they seem to be carried by a current, rising and falling like the ocean tide until a form begins to take shape before me. The body of a woman slowly takes form, but her ghostly body has no notable features, appearing to be made completely of a shadow-like mist. You don't belong here. Her voice is like a faint echo, both eerie and melodic. I know, but I come seeking help in finding the one responsible for harming the Luna and future Alpha. What's your name? Her spectral head tilts to the side and, while I can't see her eyes, I can feel her studying me. I'm Helen. Come with me. There is one who may be able to help. Her form floats, not past me, but through me, as she leads me out the door. We move down the hall, passing numerous other spectral figures who all seem to be unaware of our presence. I continue following her until we reach the bottom floor and enter the kitchen where two shadow figures are milling about, their movements mimicking those of the kitchen staff, making my heart ache at the thought that, even in death, they've found no reprieve from their earthy duties. Myra, this outsider wishes to speak to you about the recent failing of the Luna's health. One of the shadow figures stills, then slowly floats closer to me. What do you wish to know, child? The soft, elderly voice washes over me, warming my disembodied spirit. Recently, within the last few months, the Luna has been poisoned and the future Alpha has been entranced. We need to find the person responsible before they can strike again. A soft hum of energy fills the air, and the shadow moves even closer. The walls echo of betrayal and treason. The traitors walk among you all, meetings held in shadows. Whispers of the fall of the Amberclaw Empire echo through the halls. The cryptic answer frustrates me, but I know my time here is limited, so I press forward. I need to know who the traitors are, Myra. Can you tell me their names? I watch as the form seems to turn in each direction as if ensuring we're not being watched before she answers me. Follow the false scent into the darkness. The meeting place of the guilty can only be found tonight at the witching hour. Two of the three, the puppets in disguise, will reveal themselves in the shadows, but the third is the puppeteer. While a name would have been preferable, it's still more information than I had before speaking with her. You must go back. It's no longer safe for you here. Helen's voice is filled with urgency and fear, so I don't question her as I let her lead me back up to the Alpha and Luna suite, where I see the ethereal form of Lucian sitting on the floor, cradling my lifeless body. Helen, is there someone here in the veil that's playing a part in this scheme? The door to the room closes, and her shadowy form moves close enough that I can feel the crackling energy of her spirit in front of me. There are some here, the dark ones. They wish to see the pack fall. They have aided the traitors, helped to hide their wicked deeds. Now, you must go! Her spectral shadow hands push me backwards, sending my spirit falling back into my body as I shoot upright, gasping for air. Goddess, you scared me to death! If it weren't for the fact that Cain could still feel his connection to Ivy, I would have lost my shit. Are you okay? Lucian's panicked voice is, honestly, music to my ears. I'm fine, a little rattled, but fine. We need to meet with your mother and father. He helps me to my feet, his touch like fireworks dancing across my skin. He helps me clean up the items on the floor, then guides me to the first floor, down a hall to an area with several doors that are all open and reveal different styles of offices. We stop at the one at the end, the only one with its doors closed. Lucian raises his hand to knock, but a voice calls out before his hand can make contact. "Come in." Lucian chuckles softly and shakes his head as he pushes the door open, then steps back so I can enter first. The Alpha is sitting behind his desk, looking thoroughly exhausted, though his face lights up upon seeing us enter his office together. "Dad," I linked Mom and asked her to join us. "Isla has some information for us that will hopefully help us to find the one responsible for the crap we've been stuck dealing with." The Alpha looks hopeful, but I'm sure he can sense my unease. I'd feel much more confident if I had solid answers rather than riddles from lingering spirits. The door opens just as Lucian is guiding me to sit on the couch, and the Luna walks in with a delicate smile on her face. She's already looking so much better than she had when I first met her. "All right, now that we're all here, I guess we should get right to it." With Margaret's help, I took a walk beyond the veil and spoke with two spirits, Myra and Helen. As with everything where spirits are concerned, they spoke in riddles, but Myra informed me that there are 3 traitors that are responsible for the recent issues. 2 of them are among your pack members, and they'll be meeting with the 3rd tonight. Myra told me to follow the false scent, and that they would be meeting at the witching hour. Everyone looks equally surprised by the information, though the Alpha also has a strange look of recognition. Myra, there was a member of the kitchen staff named Myra when I was just a pup. She passed away less than a week after her mate had been killed. It makes sense that her spirit would remain if she never reunited with her mate in death, though the thought of it is still heartbreaking. Helen alluded to the fact that whoever this 3rd traitor is, they're somehow communing with the dark spirits, receiving aid from them. She seemed to be afraid of them. I think the first task needs to be identifying the false scent. At first, I wasn't sure what the hell Myra meant, but now that I think about it, I'm wondering if she means the wolf is using something to alter their scent so they can mask their trail. Ivy is growling in my head. The knowledge that someone from this pack is trying to harm our mate and his family filling her with anger. So, 3 a.m. is when they'll be meeting, but where and how will we find a false scent? Ivy pushes forward, flashing memories of the day we met our mate, and my stomach churns with the sudden realization that this might be much worse than we realized. Isla, I see brief flashes, some still images, others playing like memories of the day I first stepped foot on the pack's grounds. When we picked up on Lucian's scent, the she-wolf clinging to him emitted no scent at all. If she had, it would have been all over him with how closely they were standing, which would have sent Ivy into a rage. But I smelled nothing. It may be nothing, but the day I met Lucian the wolf he was with, Valerie, she had no discernible scent. I honestly hadn't noticed, but Ivy certainly did. I can see the regret flash through Lucian's eyes, but I also see anger there that has me scooting away from him, sliding to the far end of the couch. A brief flash of panic rises in his eyes when he realizes I put distance between us as a result of the anger that practically erupted from him. "Shit! I'm sorry, Isla. I'm not upset with you. I swear to you I'm not. It makes so much sense, and I feel so damn stupid for not figuring out sooner that she was up to something. None of my anger is for you. You don't need to be afraid of me. Truthfully, I didn't move out of fear that he would hurt me, but the move was instinctual, as I remembered how angry he looked at the pack barbecue when we met, then again at the border before he insulted me and broke my heart for the 2nd time. I wasn't shielding myself from a physical assault, but preparing for a verbal one. He keeps his hands where I can see them, clearly not understanding that his hands aren't what caused the pain he inflicted on me. Then he slowly slides closer to me. "Hey, I'm sorry. Please don't pull away." I don't know if he means physically or emotionally, probably both. Honestly, I would prefer it if I could just build up walls to keep him away, protect myself. But Ivy wouldn't let me, and, if I'm being honest with myself, deep down, I don't want to. There's a part of me that wants so badly to believe he can be the mate I deserve, the one I had always dreamed of. Consciously I know he wasn't in control of himself when we first met. But knowing that does nothing to erase the memories of our first meeting, or the second. I'm sorry, it was an automatic reaction. I know I don't need to explain it away, but I'm trying to believe in him, to give him the chance he asked for. No, don't apologize. You don't have any reason yet to trust me, but I'll spend every day until I draw my last breath proving to you that I won't hurt you again. I slowly close the distance between us, sliding my hand into his and lacing our fingers together. I know, and it's not like you were in control of yourself, but the memories are still there, and it's hard to get my mind to push them aside and see them as memories created by someone else. In a move that both surprises me and has my face flushing, he leans over and places a gentle kiss on my temple. I know, and there's nothing I wouldn't give to change the way things played out, to give you the first meeting you deserved. I catch the proud look on the Alpha's face, and the beaming smile on the Luna's face, which only makes my already present blush deepen. Well, let's handle this so we can get to work making up for lost time. So, if she really is the one with the false scent, then we should be able to mask our scents and follow her to find the others. Do we know if Valerie has ever had access to the kitchen during meal preparations, or was she ever the one to bring the Luna her food? They all take a moment, clearly trying to think of any moment where Valerie had contact with the Luna's meals. But the fact that they even have to think this hard gives me more information than their answers will. Valerie never was stationed on the kitchen staff, but she may have helped deliver meals every now and then. The Alpha's answer is precisely what I was expecting. It would have had to be fairly consistent in order for her to administer the poison regularly, especially with how weak the doses were. There wouldn't be able to be more than a day at most between doses for it to remain effective. So, that rules her out as the one directly responsible for that, though I'm fairly certain she played at least a small part in it. We need to not let her catch on to the fact that we know anything for now, which means acting exactly as we were before Lucian's enchantment wore off. I can tell Lucian isn't okay with this, not even a little. Behaving like nothing has changed means him allowing her to cling to him, and him being cold and cruel if he should see me. Honestly, I'm not okay with it either, but we need to keep up appearances. You can't ask me to do that, Isla. I can't let her touch me, and I refuse to treat you like crap and say those awful things to you again. There has to be another way because there's not a chance in hell I can go through with it, and Cain wouldn't let me even if I agreed. Even if his human side would agree, there's no way in hell his wolf would let him, especially not after everything that's happened between us. Cain is feeling unusually protective of me, and I get it. Due to the mess this enchantment made, Lucian almost cost Cain his mate. You can stay in my office and work on the reports for the upcoming Alpha Summit census. That should keep you busy enough for you not to leave the office and will provide a more than acceptable excuse for your absence, as well as an explanation for why the door will remain locked. I'll arrange for the kitchen staff to bring your dinner to you. Isla, you should probably stay with him, just to be safe. I assume you'll need to get the ingredients for the scent masking tonic? I shake my head, offering the Alpha a mischievous smile. No tonic needed. Margaret taught me a spell to mask scents. It's more of a scent matching spell, actually, and it'll enable us to match and mimic the scent of any plant life in the area surrounding us. Lucian gives my hand a soft squeeze, and I can tell he's glad I won't be leaving him. That's settled then. I'll have food brought in for you both, so just hang tight and try to keep busy. The Alpha and Luna leave the office, and Lucian immediately gets up to lock the door. I know it's probably ridiculous, but I'm really glad you're not leaving. I don't think Cain would have let you leave without us, and being seen following you back to the cabin might be a little suspicious. He gives me a sheepish smile that has me laughing softly. Well, I don't think Ivy would have been too thrilled with the idea either. So, what kind of research was your dad talking about? He walks over, grabs my hand, and leads me to the large leather chair behind the desk. Once he sits down, he pulls me into his lap, then buries his nose into my neck, breathing my scent in deeply before answering me. Just research on our pack's income, expenses, transfers in and out of the pack, any development plans we have, any new housing being created, and patrol reports. Lots of the usual summit report crap. I'm a little worried about Dad having to present the transfer records, though. I can tell something is bothering him, so I decide to push gently and see if he'll tell me what it is. Why are you worried? The guilt in his eyes is heavy, and I find myself snuggling into him, trying to offer him comfort. When I said those awful things to you at the pack barbecue, you know, the night we met pretty much the entire pack herd, we have a lot of mixed breed wolves here, and a lot of them were so upset with my behavior that they've put in requests to transfer. I can't blame them, but now my dad is going to have to smooth things over with the council, and hopefully the other alphas won't think we're weak and try to cause problems. I honestly hadn't thought about how his actions may have put strain on the rest of his pack, but I get it. Why would any impure wolf want to remain in a pack where their future alpha shows his intolerance toward their kind? They don't know that it wasn't Lucian that said those things, but the enchantment on him and the script created by the one who enacted it, which is something I plan to rectify as soon as possible. All right, for now, let's focus on the income, expenses, and on tonight's task. But once we have the guilty people identified and the traitors in the pack locked away, you and I will address the pack and show them the truth. Don't process any of those requests until we've had a chance to clear the air. He wraps his arms tightly around my waist and leans his forehead against my shoulder, but I feel some of the tension leave him. I don't deserve you. We may not be able to get through to them all, but all we can do is try. With us having a plan for the first steps in the clearly necessary damage control, we both get to work reviewing records and writing notes for the alpha to include in his report. He's neck-deep in development proposals when I stumble across something that I don't think was meant to be filed with the paperwork I'm reviewing a work detail roster. I skim through the details, which include names, daily tasks, times, and days for every pack member's daily work duties for the pack. The sheet I found is for the clinic, daycare, and archives, so I decide to search the file cabinet to see if I can find the records for the kitchen. If I can find that list, we might just have a chance of getting some answers before we go on our little stealth mission. Enjoying the story so far? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 11. Isla. An hour into my search, I find the records I needed the last 4 months of kitchen staff work detail. As I skim through the many pages of kitchen assignment records, I notice only 3 names that are constantly present, while the others have 2-day breaks every week. It may not point to the one specific wolf responsible, but narrowing it down from the more than 400 pack members to only 3, it's a damn good start. You look like you found the Holy Grail over there. Lucian's amusement is clearly on display, and it's a sight I immediately love. Not quite, but check this out. I take the records to him and show him what I found, but he blows my mind when he gives us the strongest contender for our primary suspect. Karina started working the kitchen about 2 months ago, after she transferred from the Black Claw pack. If there's one thing I know, every wolf from the Black Claw pack was raised to be ruthless, underhanded, and to do whatever is necessary to gain power. It's just one of the many reasons I'm glad I wasn't raised by them, but merely tolerated until I was of age to be discarded by them like trash. I never met her, or at least I don't know that name, but I wasn't permitted to participate in any activity where the pack would be gathered. I may have seen her around the pack grounds, but I didn't know the names of the pack members, only the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. I was seen as unworthy of socializing with or even speaking to the pack. But if she was raised like the rest of them, she's our prime suspect for poisoning your mom. The timeline fits too. If she started with lacing the Luna's food with the arsenic for the first few weeks before introducing the aconite, your mom would be so weak that she wouldn't be likely to realize that the new symptoms were unrelated to the ones she was already experiencing. It's strategic, Ruthless and pure fucking evil, definitely something a wolf raised by the Black Claw pricks would do. I know he's trying to control his anger, and I have no doubt he's doing it for me after my reaction earlier, but he has every right to be pissed off. Someone was intentionally harming his mom. Okay, so that means we have Valerie and Karina for our top two choices as traitors. I wonder who the third person could be. Just with what we now know, I have my suspicions, but part of me is fighting to deny it. No matter what, we'll know soon enough, and I can only hope my suspicions are way off base. We have an hour until they're set to meet up. Let me do this damn spell so we can go wait for Valerie and follow her to wherever the hell they're meeting. He stands up and walks over to me, both of us glad that the night actually passed relatively quickly. I recite the archaic words I memorized, ensuring to pronounce each one correctly, so I don't accidentally have a mishap that turns us into something unpleasant like pink alpacas. Once it's done, I lean in and draw in a deep breath, easily catching the absence of his own unique scent. Well, I can't smell you, so it worked. But for the record, I hate this spell. Your scent just so happens to be one of my favorite smells. His playful pout has me throwing an equally playful eye roll his way before we both use the window in the office to make our escape. We both quickly take our positions behind two of the large trees near the edge of the forest behind the pack house, ready to follow the traitors. I didn't tell him that I also cast a silent movement spell that will make our sneaking around so much easier, though he quickly figured it out when we jumped out of the window and his feet fell to the ground, but made no sound. The amazement and amusement in his expression nearly had me laughing, but I was able to swallow it down only barely so. Seems to me he's really enjoying the perks of having a half-witch mate. We were prepared to spend the better part of the hour waiting, but 5 minutes after we assumed our positions, we see Valerie and, no surprise, Karina stepping out the back door. While her name didn't sound familiar, her face is one I'll never forget. Karina's the daughter of Beta Richard, one of the wolves who was the most disgusted by my presence in their pack. Unfortunately, this just makes my suspicions about the person they're meeting that much stronger. We follow them in silence, moving through trees and bushes as they lead us closer to the border. It's not until they cross that we struggle to keep to the shadows with the less abundant tree cover, but then they go into a cave a quarter mile from the pack's border and enter without hesitation. We move close enough to hear them and resume our hiding. We may hear their voices, but the darkness in the cave hides the face of the third person, yet hearing his voice makes seeing his face unnecessary for me. He all but shouts, his cold, angry voice echoing off the cave walls and flooding the forest around us. The alpha took her to a healer off of the packlands. I've never known a healer who could not only drain the poison from the body, but also heal the damage done by them the way she did. Karina's voice is soft, sounding more frightened than defensive. I'm honestly feeling a little flattered by her unintentional compliment. And what of the alpha's heir? Are you any closer to locking him down? I've heard rumors of him finding his mate, but it seems he was unwelcoming toward her. Yes, he was downright cruel to the half-breed bitch. He's been tied up with pack affairs for the Alpha Summit reports all day, but if things keep going like they are, I should have him marking and mating me by the end of the month. Good! That's very good, Valerie. How disgraceful to be given a mutt for a mate. He practically growls out the last of his response, and I can tell it's taking a lot for Lucian to keep his wolf restrained. That's not even the worst part. Not only is she a half-breed, but she's a rogue. I assure you, I've got him right where I want him. We'll meet again in 3 weeks and we'll attack in 4. Remember, no contact until our meeting. I can't have the other packs learning about our plan until it's already in motion. Yes, sir, the 2 she-wolves respond in unison. Seconds later, they exit the cave and head back toward the pack, and a large, cloaked figure slips out and rushes in the opposite direction back toward Blackclaw. Once the coast is clear, Lucian hurries over to me, stopping at my side as we both stare at the now empty cave. We're no closer to finding out who he is, but at least we know for sure that Valerie and Karina were involved. I grimace and slowly shake my head, still hating that I had been correct in who the third person may be. Actually, I know exactly who he is. What I don't know is how Valerie got involved with someone like him, but I now know why Karina chose to transfer here. He looks at me, likely seeing the agony in my eyes because next thing I know, he's pulling me into his arms, holding me tightly. Hey, whatever it is, we'll face it together. How do you know him? His tone is cautious, and while part of me knows he's reacting to the tension in me, the other part worries he's going to turn on me and assume I must have something to do with it too. He's my former alpha Eros. His body tenses and he's quiet for a long moment, which has me bracing for the moment he'll lash out at me, but it never comes. The bastard who exiled you because of who your damn parents were? The words come out on a growl, and I simply nod my head against his chest. The one and only. We need to talk to your dad, and I think Ethan should be there. Does your dad not have a beta? I haven't met one yet. He steps back, nodding his head as he does. His beta's name is Andrew, and he's visiting a few of our allied packs to the west to help with issues they were having. Let's head back. I don't like the idea of sitting here in the open in the wildlands. I easily agree and let him take my hand as he leads the way back. When we get back to the pack house, we both sneak back in through the office window, and he immediately unlocks the door, then links his parents and Ethan, who make it to the office in mere minutes. I assume your adventure was a success? The Alpha is the first to speak the very second the door closes, and while we do have information, it's not necessarily the good kind. The traitors within our pack have been identified. Valerie and Karina met with the third wolf in a cave, roughly a quarter-mile beyond the pack border in the wildlands. Isla was able to identify the third wolf by voice. She said it's Alpha Eros of the Black Claw pack. The Alpha's face flushes red with anger, and the Luna's face turns an ungodly shade of white. But we're not done yet. I step forward, deciding to fill in some blanks for them. Karina is the daughter of Beta Richard, Eros's beta. I never familiarized myself with the names of the pack members there, but it's nearly impossible to forget the faces of your tormentors. They're to refrain from all contact with him, and are set to meet with Eros again in 3 weeks, and he said they would attack in 4. Valerie is supposed to be getting Lucian to mark and mate her, while Karina's primary goal seemed to be weakening the Luna. Lucian steps behind me and wraps his arms around me tightly at the mention of marking and mating Valerie. Both he and his wolf clearly repulsed by the thought of it. How on earth have they been contacting him? The Luna's soft voice has all of us directing our attention to her. Luna, we honestly don't know, but he ordered them to refrain from any contact until their next meeting. We all need to get some rest before we try to sort out all of this. But I can ask Margaret if she can help search for any spelled items they might be using to keep in touch with him. She nods, and a thoughtful look falls over her as the males in the room continue discussing the situation, but I'm watching her. What is the Luna thinking? Chapter 12. Isla, I believe our first step should be locking the 2 bitches away before they cause any more issues. Ethan's suggestion has Lucian, the Alpha, Luna, and I all nodding in agreement. Yes, I'll have them picked up right away. The Alpha's eyes glaze over as he opens a mind link, presumably contacting the guards. I believe we've been given an advantage here. With them being instructed not to contact him, he'll assume they'll simply be there for the next meeting. No questions asked. We can set up an ambush for him there. If you use the same scent masking spell, he wouldn't even know our wolves are there until it's too late. The Luna's suggestion is rather impressive. Perfect, really, but there might be one small issue. I think that's a wonderful idea, my love. We can have Lucian lead some scouts to the cave so they can find the best placement for our wolves, and then we can get to planning our attack. The Alpha makes no attempt to hide his praise, and the look in his eyes makes it impossible to deny his love for her. But with the restraint he exercised when I first met them, not hovering and growling while I treated his mate, he's obviously one strong wolf. I should return to my cabin and check in with Margaret. She might be able to help us, but even if not, I need to ask if she can help train me so I can better control my attack abilities. Also, there's the matter of the dark spirits that are helping Eros. I need to see if Margaret has any ideas on how to handle them. A low growl rumbles through Lucian's chest, and has me looking back at him over my shoulder with one brow raised. I'd feel a lot better if you would both come stay here. I don't like the idea of you being so far away, and in the wildlands no less. I won't lie, part of me doesn't want to leave either, but the other part wasn't so sure he'd want me to stay. You want me to stay here? Me and Margaret? I can hear the vulnerability in my voice, but I trust the wolves here enough to not care that they're witnessing this private moment. Of course I want you here, Isla. I want you here where I can help keep you safe, but I also want you here because I want to be near you and spend time with you. If you aren't ready to stay here with me, then at least let me go to the cabin with you. He manages to crush another of my fears before I can even voice it. Part of me had worried that he only wanted me nearby out of obligation to keep me safe because of the mate bond's influence. Can we go to the cabin so I can talk to Margaret and pack some things, then we can come back here after we get some rest? A bright smile lights up his face as he nods his agreement without any hesitation. Then it's settled. The two of you head out and we'll all have dinner with the pack later. By the time we start the trip to the cabin, the sun is already starting to break over the mountains, which seems to only enhance the exhaustion taking over my body. As soon as we reach the cabin, I waste no time talking to Margaret, who quickly agrees to train me and go to the pack house with us to do so. With that settled, I decide to forego packing and, instead, drag Lucian to my room, where we both barely make it to the bed before collapsing from sheer exhaustion.
Lucian. When I woke up and found myself in a strange room this afternoon, I was shocked, especially with how small the bed was. It took a minute to get my bearings, but with Isla curled up to me, I remained calm, just confused, until everything flooded back to me. The one good thing about sharing this room with her for the night was that, with the bed being so small, there was no way for her to not stay close to me. I had honestly been surprised when she took my hand and dragged me in here this morning, but I'm certainly not complaining. After helping Isla pack all her clothes, herbs, salves, and tonics, I have Ethan, Neil, and Mark come help me carry everything to the pack house, while Isla and Margaret entertain us with Isla shifting and letting Margaret ride her wolf like a damn horse. For an old woman, Margaret has a very youthful energy, and it's impossible to deny the connection she has with my mate. When we arrive back, Isla doesn't issue a single complaint when I have everyone bring her things to my room. If anything, the smile she's been wearing since she shifted back only widens. All right, you two go get cleaned up before dinner, and I'll show Margaret to her room. My mom's voice is enough to snap me out of my lovesick trance, and when I hold out my hand for Isla, she accepts it with ease, lacing her fingers with mine. By the time we've both showered and changed, we still have 2 hours until dinner will be served, so I decide to see if I can learn a little more about my mate while we wait. How did you meet Margaret? I'm sitting on the edge of my king-sized bed, watching as she runs a brush through her long black tresses. Oh, it was honestly kind of crazy. I hadn't been living at the cabin very long at the time and had decided to go for a walk. I ended up running into her just wandering through the woods. I don't know if it was loneliness, perpetual boredom, or maybe even temporary insanity, but I invited her back to the cabin for tea. She had said something when she found me about me being exactly where they said I would be. It was really just crazy. She even brought some books to help me learn about my witch abilities, though reading about them and using them were two very different things. Just ask the raccoon and squirrel. My protective side, the one severely enhanced by the mate bond at the moment, wants to freak out over the thought of her so easily trusting a complete stranger when she was all alone, but the more rational side can tell she must have felt some kind of connection to her in order for her to so easily welcome her in. Did she live with you then? She frowns slightly at that and slowly shakes her head. No, not really. She was there for around 3 weeks before just disappearing. One night we were talking about different herbs and their various uses, and the next morning, she was just gone. I didn't see or hear from her again until your mother brought her in. Hell, while living in the cabin, the only interaction I had with anyone other than Margaret was with your border patrol who would watch me as I gathered herbs. But none of them talked to me until the day Ethan asked if I could try helping your mom. The second I see the sadness flash in her eyes, I wrap my arms around her and pull her into my lap. My need to comfort her is just too impossible to ignore. I don't know how you survived a whole year alone without going feral, but you'll never have to be alone again, Isla. She nuzzles into my neck, her warm breath offering a welcome distraction from the heaviness of our conversation. As I'm enjoying my time, snuggling my mate, I get the notification through the pack link that the traders have been shackled and placed in cells. It's done? I don't know how she knew, but I have no doubt that my smile answers her question. But in case it doesn't, Dobe. Yeah, they're locked up and bound in silver shackles, like the worthless, treacherous dogs they are. She stands up quickly, takes my hand, and tugs me to my feet. Have your mother call the pack to the field behind the pack house. They'll respond better to her than you right now. It kills me to know she's right, but I don't hesitate to reach out to my mom through the link and make the request. One she's all too happy to agree to, though she's clearly curious about why, just like I am. She told them to meet out back in 20 minutes. She lets out a heavy sigh, then nods as if agreeing to some thought she hasn't yet shared. Let's get ready to start mending the damage those bitches did to this pack. There's only 40 minutes until dinner will be served. So we hurry downstairs and find my mom and dad already waiting for us, with Margaret standing to my mom's right and my dad to her left. The entire pack is already present, aside from the patrols, and it seems Isla is eager to get things moving. Hi. Most of you don't know me yet, and those who do, most likely know me because of the scene at the barbecue between my mate and I. I can understand how that moment likely affected many of you, because it deeply affected me too. Some of you may have been left feeling uncertain of your pack's future, feeling like your safety and well-being are in jeopardy, because the person soon to be running your pack has shown clear prejudice toward people like yourselves. I want you to know that I understand how you feel. I'm not standing here to tell you that his behavior should be excused or forgotten. I can't help but feel hurt by what she's saying, but she must sense it, because her hand finds mine and she laces our fingers, holding on tightly as she continues to address the entire pack. What I want to tell you, something I struggled to accept at first and am still dealing with to some extent right now, is that your future alpha was not himself. He had been enchanted, and because of it, he wasn't in control of his actions. I will tell you he's been cleansed and is now free of the control of the one who entranced him. I'll tell you he's been cleansed to remove any lingering effects of the enchantment, and I will be crafting a charm to prevent him from being the victim of any further enchantments. But I don't want you to take my word for it. I won't ask that of you. What I will ask of you is nothing less than I was willing to offer myself a chance for him to prove himself to you. You don't have to blindly trust that he's not the man the enchantment forced him to be, but I ask that you let him prove to you what kind of leader he is. Let him show you with his actions that he deserves not only your trust, but your forgiveness. I feel Cain practically purring with pride, our respect and love for her growing with each word. Chapter 13. Lucian. While I felt hurt at first, I now understand what she was doing. She's holding me accountable and making them see that, while my actions were hurtful, they aren't me. She's asking them to let me show them who I am, and I'm glad she handled it the way she did. I don't deserve their forgiveness yet, but she's trying to give me a chance to earn it. What if the charm doesn't work and he becomes enchanted again, or if it just turns out that the side of him we all saw is just who he really is? That would be Aggie, and she's standing beside Jenna and her daughter. Then I'll personally oversee expediting your transfer to a pack of your choice. I'm not asking for a miracle here, just a chance. The choice is yours, but I hope you'll all choose to give Lucian a chance to prove to you what he's already been working so hard to prove to me. She squeezes my hand and looks up at me with the softest, sweetest smile, and it wrecks me in the best way. Are you saying that he's accepted you as his mate and future Luna then? I don't let her answer. Not this time. This one is all mine, because the only reason that there are any doubts is because of my actions, enchanted or not. At least this is one thing I can clear up right here, right now. I, Lucian Black, accept you, Isla, as my mate, my future Luna, and my better half in every way. It's only as I declare this that I realize I never even learned my mate's last name. I, Isla Michaels, accept you, Lucian Black, as my mate, my future alpha, and my equal in every way. I don't even care that the whole damn pack is watching as my lips crash into hers and my arms pull her tight against my chest. Let them watch. When we break apart, our foreheads press together as we both smile like fools, I feel whole, calm, and truly, undeniably happy. We'll stay for now. We hope you'll prove to be better than your past actions and the hateful words you've spoken. Jenna's voice is firm, but I can tell she's still not entirely convinced, and that's okay. I can't expect her to just forgive me because my mate offered some pretty words, but I will prove myself to them, to all of them. If you were enchanted, who cast the spell? Have they been caught? Isla is looking right into my eyes and gives me a nod of encouragement. We both know that we can't expect them to learn to trust me if I'm hiding things from them. Besides, I think we all can feel the storm brewing, and if we're going to have a chance of surviving this, we need to work together. They were apprehended along with the pack member responsible for poisoning my mother, your Luna. Valerie is the one who placed the enchantment on me, while Karina was responsible for poisoning my mother. They're both detained, and their cells are heavily guarded. The news of my mom's poisoning causes a roar of whispers. Everyone's shocked that not only did one of our own seek to attack me, but another harmed our Luna. It was that bitch, Valerie? She was trying to control how you ran the pack, wasn't she? Aggie's guess is spot on with what we're believing right now, and I see no sense hiding the truth from the pack, so I answer truthfully. Yes, we believe that Valerie sought to gain control of the pack through me, while Karina sought to weaken my dad by weakening my mom. We don't have all the details at this time, but we will be keeping you all informed as we find anything out. We need to work together, and we all need to understand that this isn't the end. They weren't working alone, and we will have a fight ahead of us sooner or later. My dad decides to speak up, something I'm grateful for at this point. I know that, as the future alpha of this pack, these things will be my responsibility soon enough. But our pack doesn't trust me right now, and my mind is still in a haze with the effects of the mate bond, so I'm not the best person to handle this, and he clearly knows that. My son will be a great leader, and his mate, our future Luna, will be an amazing Luna. While Isla isn't asking you to trust in them, I'm asking you to trust in me and my mate. I've led this pack with a firm but fair hand, and would never allow someone to take my place who wasn't capable of leading as well as, if not better than, I have. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I'm starving. Let's eat. He earns a round of laughter that instantly lightens everyone's mood as we all file into the pack house's dining hall. When we reach our seats, I pull out the chair for Isla and smile when her cheeks flush as she mumbles a soft, "Thank you," and slides into her seat. The kitchen staff bring out the trays of various roasted meats, steamed vegetables, and several different kinds of potatoes. But before Isla can even reach for her plate, I take it from her and begin dishing up a little of everything, then set it in front of her before serving up my own food and settling back into my seat. As soon as I sit down, I notice her sitting there, not making a move to eat, so I grab her fork, scoop a bite of roast beef onto it, and raise it to her mouth. She gives me a beautiful smile, then opens her mouth and gracefully takes the offered bite. As she delicately chews the meat, she takes my fork and copies my actions, feeding me the first bite from my plate. In our culture, feeding your mate is an act of intimacy, something the other members of our pack here definitely don't miss. Once we begin feeding ourselves, the rest of the pack begins eating and conversing, but you can feel the shift in the atmosphere, like a weight has been lifted from us all, and all it took was letting them see how much I care for my beautiful mate. Throughout the entire meal, I can feel our pack members stealing glances of Isla and I, but my attention stays on my mate. I can't believe I almost lost her. I know it wasn't exactly my fault, but if I had lost her, even because of an enchantment, I would have never forgiven myself. The way I see it, I'm the one who let Valerie get close enough to do this to me, so it may not be directly my fault, but the guilt is still there. Hey, what are you thinking about? I notice her furrowed brow and the deep concern in her eyes that I honestly don't deserve. I was just thinking about how stupid I was to let her get close enough to do this to us. I almost lost you, Isla. She could agree with me, let me feel the guilt for this. But Isla's too damn amazing for that. She pushes her plate away and turns in her chair to face me, then takes my right hand and wraps both of hers around it. Listen to me, Lucian Black, and listen good. I forgive you. Everything that happened, that's in the past. It's time for us to stop living there and move forward. I can forgive you until I'm blue in the face, but if you can't forgive yourself, we'll never be able to move on. You need to ask yourself, do you want a future with me, or do you want to continue dwelling on things we can no longer change? Even a witch, or half-witch in my case, can't time travel. So the story of our past is just that, a story. It tells us where we began, but it doesn't dictate where we go from here. I can't stay in the past with you, Lucian, I won't. Kane growls at me, standing by our mate, and agreeing with every word she says. You're right. I'm sorry, Isla. You're absolutely right. The only place I want to be is by your side. She stuns me into silence when she leans forward and gives me a soft kiss on the corner of my mouth, causing an explosion of those delicious sparks to erupt and leave my lips tingling. I was hoping you'd see things my way. My mom and dad burst out laughing, quickly joined by Ethan, Neil, and Mark then. Pretty soon, the entire room is filled with laughter. But all I care about is that heart-melting smile on Isla's face. We all finish our meal with light conversations and a sense of calm filling the room. Even Aggie and Jenna seem happier right now, and it's all thanks to my beautiful mate. Hey, wanna go for a walk? I can't help it, I just want to spend some time alone with her. So when she nods her head, I have no doubt I'm smiling like a damn Cheshire cat. I take her hand and lead her out of the pack house and into the forest, heading north toward my favorite thinking spot. While I still think she's forgiving me far too easily, she's 100% right. I can't change the past, but I sure the hell can ensure we have a bright future, a future with her. Chapter 14. Lucian. It takes us 20 minutes to get to the hot springs, the place I always come to clear my head. But we're quiet the whole time, just enjoying each other's presence without a need to fill the silence. When we reach the small clearing with the hot spring at the base of the mountain, I don't miss the way her face lights up with surprise. This is so beautiful, Lucian. Can you swim in it? I nod my head as we walk closer to the spring. I spent a lot of time here as a kid. There's runoff from the mountain that helps cool the heated water, which makes it safe to swim in. It's not very deep, but my dad made stone benches around the edges to sit on. She turns to face me, a soft smile on her perfect face as she slowly gets ready near the water, and the air between us immediately tightens with unspoken tension. By the time she's ready, she's standing before me with a calm confidence that leaves me momentarily speechless. Dear goddess, you're stunning, Isla. She tilts her head to the side, and her eyes rake over me, and I can feel it like a gentle touch. I start removing my clothes, nowhere near as gracefully as she did, until I'm standing at the edge of the water, fully aware of how strongly she affects me. When I hear the approving rumble of her wolf, I know she notices it too. Come on, mate, don't be shy. Her tone is playful and challenging as she steps into the spring. I slowly make my way closer, watching her settle into the water on the stone ledge. I finally step in and take my place beside her, struggling with the urge to pull her closer. My hands ache with the need to hold her. Do you have any idea how badly I want to touch you right now? I barely get the words out, but she doesn't make it easy for me. She stands again, closing the distance between us, and comes right up to me, wrapping her arms around my neck. Do you have any idea how badly I want you to hold me right now? And just like that, my control breaks. I pull her closer, and our lips meet in a deep, overwhelming kiss. My arms hold her firmly, afraid to let her go. We stay like that, lost in each other, as everything around us fades away. She moves closer, and in that silence, everything between us becomes clearer than words. As the night deepens, we lose ourselves in the moment neither of us is ready to step away from. I give her a quiet pause, a chance to stop if she wants. Hey, we can stop if you aren't ready. We don't have to do this tonight. She meets my eyes, hesitation there, but also certainty. She kisses me again, choosing to move forward, holding on to me as she breathes deeply and steadies herself. For a while she stays still, then slowly relaxes against me, trusting me completely. In that moment, I've never felt anything like it. Everything between us feels stronger, deeper, as the bond rises around us. And when it finally settles, it feels like something permanent has formed between us. We stay there for a while, holding each other as our breathing steadies, and the intensity turns into something warm and grounding. I'm yours, Lucian, until my last breath. I press a kiss to her head. And I'm yours, Isla. Later, we leave the spring together. As we walk back, the bond between us hums quietly, filling the silence. You're thinking too loud. Sorry. Her hand squeezes mine. Do you regret it? I pull her into my chest, holding her tightly. Goddess, no, she tells me she forgave me, truly. And I feel the guilt finally start to fade. Thank you, Isla. We share a softer kiss this time. Let's go back and rest. And we walk home together, both smiling like nothing else in the world matters. Chapter 15. Lucian. Something's not right. After showering with Isla last night, we curled up together in bed, and she was out in under 2 minutes with me following closely behind her. But now I'm wide awake and it's still dark, yet something feels wrong. I take a moment to assess my surroundings. My room looks the same, my body feels the same, and I can feel the weight of my mate's body snuggled against me. That's when it hits me. No sparks, no warmth. I can't reach her through the mind link. And when I try, I hit a wall of static. I sit up so fast that my head spins for a minute, but when I look down at her, I notice she's not breathing. Kane assures me that he still feels Ivy there, which is the only reason I'm able to hold on to the fragile thread of my sanity. Thankfully, he reminds me of how we felt when she used the Veil tonic, and this is exactly like that, only she didn't drink a tonic. They're waking up. Kane's voice comes seconds before Isla shoots up on the bed, gasping for air and her fists pressed to her chest. Fucking hell, we need to get to the cells. She scrambles off of the bed and rushes to throw on a pair of leggings and one of my t-shirts, with me opting for a pair of athletic shorts before I rush out of the room behind her. I'm not entirely sure what I thought we'd find when we reached the cells, but 2 dead she-wolf prisoners was most definitely not on the list. What the hell happened to them? My harsh tone has the guard flinching, but then I feel the explosion of sparks on my arm as Isla wraps her hand around it, instantly soothing some of my anger. He had nothing to do with it. Myra showed me. It was the Dark Ones. I can feel how worried she is, but it feels like she's filtering some of her emotions, hiding them away. The Dark Ones? Like evil spirits? She crunches up her nose and hums softly, then shakes her head. Not so much evil spirits, but something close to it. They're spirits of those who died awful, violent deaths. Margaret had called them tortured souls, and when these souls pass through the veil, they draw darkness to them. Slowly, over time, they'll become some sick, twisted version of the spirit that once was. Most times, they simply linger, but if manipulated properly, they can use their darkness to twist and bend the will of living beings whose souls are already tainted by darkness, which, it's safe to say, both of them clearly were. She gestures to the corpses in the cells, and I can't even argue since I damn well know she's right. This doesn't change our plans, but it does mean we can't screw this up. We have to make sure we get this bastard. She nods her head in agreement as her hand slides down my arm and right into mine, her fingers lacing with mine. We'll get him. Looks like I need to get together with Margaret and get to work on learning how to use my abilities. It's been 4 days since the traitors of our pack were found dead in their cells, and the entire pack has been hard at work with training, preparing the safer rooms, and we've even sent word through private courier to the council about what we've discovered. In the last 4 days, Isla has been drawn into the veil twice by Helen, with warnings about the Dark Ones. It seems that we're not only fighting an enemy alpha, but we have spiritual enemies to contend with as well. Margaret came up with a temporary solution to prevent the dark spirits from interfering and overhearing our plans. A simple cleansing of the pack house, and some blessed runes painted along the walls. It's temporary, but it buys us a little time. You did that on purpose. It's awful. You better fix this, Isla. Hearing Margaret's high-pitched screech, followed by Isla and my mother's laughter, it has me walking to the window to my father's office that overlooks the field they're training in, where I find Margaret standing, with her fists propped on her hips, glaring at my mother and Isla, her once silver hair, now a shade of purple that's barely darker than her amethyst eyes. Well, shit. I don't know what happened. It was an accident, but if nothing, there's a raccoon running around out there that looks an awful lot like you. The smirk she finishes her playful comment with has me smiling as I watch them get back to work. Your mate is truly something else, son. My father's deep voice is accompanied by his firm hand grabbing my shoulder and squeezing gently. She's so damn amazing, Dad. So, is everything ready for the summit census? We've worked diligently to ensure our reports for the summit are complete, knowing we won't have time to work on them in the upcoming weeks. We've got everything finished, and I'll forward it all to the summit chairman in the morning. Now we should. His words are cut off by the panicked voices of my mother and Margaret. But worse yet is the sudden coldness that engulfs me, as my bond with Isla goes numb and is replaced with that aching static that I've quickly come to hate. We need to get her to her room. You carry her, and I'll get the doors. Margaret isn't scared, but she knows that if Isla was pulled into the veil again, it must be something serious. By the time my dad and I reach the stairs, my mother is already running up them with my mate in her arms. We reach our room, and I watch as she lays her gently in the bed, then I slip in beside her, holding her tightly as we wait for her to come back to us.
Isla, okay, so these random adventures into the veil are honestly getting pretty annoying. It's one thing when they drag me in while I'm sleeping, but now I'm getting pulled in mid-training. I mean, yeah, I did just turn Margaret's hair purple, but aside from that very small little mishap, things were going really well. It's no surprise when I see Helen standing there, waiting for me with her shadowy, spectral hands clasped in front of her and her head lowered. Something is coming. The dark ones have been gathering outside the walls. Some of the pure spirits are missing. Myra, she's gone. I'll admit this makes no sense to me. Why the hell would spirits be going missing? Do you know why the dark ones are gathering, and do you know where the others have gone? I watch her shadowy head shake from side to side. No, the halls echo with whispers of darkness. Perhaps the others moved on, or perhaps they've been taken. Yeah, because that's helpful. You know of our plan. Have the dark ones figured it out? She's still for a moment before shaking her head again. No, they had seemed unconcerned with you and your mate. They seem to be focused on something greater. I will try to learn more, but you must be careful. There are many who wish to see your people fall. I appreciate her warning, I really do, but it's not giving me a whole lot to go off of right now. Do you know who else poses a threat to us right now? She nods her head, but as I prepare for her to answer me, the always present low hum of energy begins pulsing, making my ears ache as a strange heaviness settles in the air around us. I see a dark shadow taking form behind her, and as I open my mouth to issue a warning, two spectral arms reach forward, grabbing her shoulders, and I watch in horror as the arms literally tear her spectral form in half, as a haunting scream fills the void, piercing my ears as I feel myself being pulled from the veil. I shoot up off the bed, a painful scream ripping through me as my lungs struggle to fill with air.
Isla, what did you see, child?
Margaret's voice is firm, but I see the worry in her eyes, something mirrored by every person in this room. It takes me a few seconds, but I finally get my heart to stop racing enough to tell them everything. While Lucian and his mom look completely lost, Margaret's expression tells me she has some idea of what's going on. All right, Margaret, spit it out. You know something, don't you? She nods as she moves to sit on the padded bench in front of the window closest to our bed. What you described, it's a soul reaper. On their own, they simply seek out withered souls, those tainted by darkness. They reap the soul and send it to hell. But there were stories from when I was a child, stories of a coven who had discovered a way to ensnare a soul reaper and use them to do their bidding. It was said that they could use the reapers to retrieve the souls of the living if the witch was powerful enough. Soul Reapers aren't dark souls, so the wards cannot keep them away. If Eros got his hand on a witch with enough power to summon and control one, we're in more trouble than I thought. Enjoying the story so far? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Chapter 16. Isla. Hearing Margaret's words, I can't help but feel my heart ache as I realize the level of darkness we're facing. Not only are we going to be facing off with Eros, but a powerful witch and her Reaper minions as well. Yeah, because things aren't already difficult enough. I had been foolish to hope this would be a simple fight between this pack and my former pack. I can't help wondering how many lives we'll lose in our fight to end this, but Ivy seems much more confident in our ability to win this fight. With Helen gone, I haven't been pulled into the Veil again, which means I've had a little over a week of uninterrupted training and some quality time with my mate. But I do find myself a little saddened by the loss of my spectral friend. In the week of uninterrupted training, I've mastered my ability to control fire and earth, but it seems water is a little less predictable. I've made it rain, caused a stream to overflow, and accidentally burst the pipes to the sprinkler system in the backyard behind the pack house. We have only 2 weeks until everything we worked for gets tested, and you can feel the tension all around us. Fighters are training 3 times as hard. Safe rooms are being checked and rechecked daily to ensure they're ready for the vulnerable members and pups. And then there's Lucian and I. We're spending our days training, and our nights wrapped in each other like each night will be our last. Isla, come quickly. Margaret's tone is pure urgency and has my body moving before my mind even fully comprehends her command. I follow her into the pack house, and she heads straight to the Alpha's office on the 1st floor, where my mate, his parents, and Ethan are already waiting. I make my way to Lucian, my body moving on autopilot until his arms are wrapped tightly around me. All right, Margaret. You made it sound like the world is about to burn. The Alpha's tone is attempting to be amused, but the strain makes it clear that he's just as worried as the rest of us. I've identified the witch that's aiding Eros and his pack of filthy mongrels, and the timeline has shifted. Well, that certainly gets our attention. Okay, let's focus on one thing at a time here. Who's the witch, Margaret? Ethan is the first to speak, and I can tell everyone is grateful he did. Her name is Orion, and she's one of the fallen coven priestesses. She was cast out of her coven, banished for siphoning power from those she was meant to train. She's a vile parasite whose power is fed by dark energy, by using the life force of the innocent. I don't think any of us were expecting that to be her answer. Orion, she was the one who helped the Larkspur pack and, in the end, the one who destroyed them. The Luna's comment has my brow raising. Surprised she knows so much about such things. Oriel, it's time you tell Isla about your connection to Eros. My eyes are darting from Margaret to the Luna, trying to figure out how the hell this amazing, strong woman could have any connection to such a weak, evil creature like Eros. My birth name is Oriel Juliana Blackthorn Eros, is my brother. I lived in the pack from the time I was born until 3 days after my 18th birthday. Eros had planned to trade me to an alpha of one of his allied packs, trading my life for resources. I met Ronan the day of my 18th birthday, but Eros tried to force me to reject him. I refused, but that just made my brother desperate. He tried to have me drugged and abducted so he could transport me to the alpha he had promised me to. What he hadn't planned for was that Ronan and I had marked and mated the night we met. I was already claimed. We reached out to the council, and my brother was forced to renounce his claim over me. I hadn't thought much of it at the time, but you said your last name is Michelson. I knew your parents. They were kind, loyal, and strong. When I look at you, I can see much of your mother in you, Isla. They would both be so proud of the amazing woman you've become. Okay, so I might be ugly crying right now, and a little shocked, but can you blame me? I'd like to hear more about them when all this is over. I have to practically choke the words out, but she simply smiles and nods, while Lucian continues to keep his arms around me. I'd love to tell you more. Now, about the shift in the timeline. Margaret nods her head, making it clear the topic is shelved so we can move on. 3 days. They're already preparing to move and will come straight for our borders. We need to prepare, and we need to move quickly. I've called in some reinforcements that will arrive by morning. Isla, you need to rest. Don't use your abilities until it's time to fight. You need to be rested and charged for the battle ahead. I nod my head, but my mind is feeling a little overloaded right now. I'll take Isla to our room so we can rest. I think we've all been working pretty hard and could use an evening off. Lucian's suggestion is met with nods of agreement. Andrew will be here by nightfall, and he's bringing 30 fighters from the Riverstone pack. Your mother and I will get them all caught up when they arrive. I'll let the rest of the pack know that tonight is a night for rest, and we'll skip the morning training sessions tomorrow so we can all enjoy a quiet breakfast with the entire pack. The Alpha's tone is firm, but there's no hiding the tiredness to it.
Come on, let's go take a nice hot bath.
Yeah, that sounds pretty damn amazing right now. Lucian and I shared a bath, witting in the water, holding each other, until the water went cold. Once we were dressed, we made our way down to the pack dining hall just in time for dinner and, much to my relief, the tension that's been filling the air here since my arrival is gone. I can tell there's still uncertainty among some of the pack members, something given away by the calculating looks, the silent assessments, and the way a few of the pack members fall silent when they see Lucian moving, or his voice rises slightly. Forgiveness hasn't been given, not yet, but I can see it in the expressions that follow the soft exhale, the softening of their eyes. He's well on his way to earning it. This has been a lesson, one we all will hopefully learn from. It takes only a single moment to destroy trust and respect, but it takes so much more to rebuild it, and Lucian is showing that he's willing to put in the work, which is enough. Andrew has just crossed the border. He has the 30 fighters from Riverstone and another 15 from Jasper Pines. Your mother and I can handle getting them up to speed on the plan, and Margaret has been building the ward at the border. We're more prepared than we expected to be, and definitely more prepared than Eros will think we are. I look at the Alpha, noting his determination, but I can see the flicker of uncertainty. Don't worry, Alpha. We're not losing, not to him. We're ready, the pack's ready. My eyes scan the members gathered at the tables, all of their eyes already watching me, and most of them nodding their agreement. Yes, we are. Eros didn't wait 3 days, he waited 2. The first howl from the patrols to alert us of his arrival came before dawn on the 2nd day, not the 3rd. The impatient prick. Promise me you won't do anything reckless, Isla. Lucian is staring at me, his hands gently holding my face while his eyes are all but screaming for me to make him believe I'll come out of this the same way I go into it. I promise I'll be careful, but I might turn some of these pricks into pink alpacas, as punishment for being impatient asses. He chuckles softly as he presses his forehead to mine. Stay near me. I love you, Isla. It's the first time he's spoken the words out loud, but I've seen them in his eyes, every second of every day since the hot springs. I love you too. Let's go beat some elite purist ass. He takes my hand in his and leads us down to the backyard, where the fighters of our pack, as well as those who joined our fight, are already waiting. Alpha Ronin delivers an inspiring speech, one I don't hear a word of, that has the fighters anxious and ready for the fight ahead. I don't listen to his words, but to the hum of the energy around us. I listen to the pulse of the earth, the distant sound of paws pounding against the earth. The Alpha is the first to move, and we all fall in behind him, ready to face our enemy, and praying like hell we're as prepared as we hope we are.
Chapter 17. Lucian, I've fought rogues before, protected our people from wild beasts, but this is different. We aren't preparing to fight crazed, bloodthirsty beasts. Today, we're preparing to face a pack of wolves who was willing to sacrifice one of their own for power, who executed a plan that would harm one of their own from their Alpha's bloodline, to destroy our pack and further expand their land and increase their power. Today, we face my uncle, related by blood, not by choice. Isla stays by my side. Her presence grounds me as we continue toward the border, where my uncle should be already waiting as his fighters take their positions. What that pathetic, power-hungry bastard doesn't know is that we've had 20 of our fighters in position since before we even knew of his approach. Isla and Margaret had insisted on having a group of 20 that would rotate out every 8 hours. Just in case he tried to pull something like this, they were prepared. Which means we were prepared. They met with each group before they took position, taking turns casting their spells to match their sense to their surroundings and silence their movements. He thinks he's ready for the fight, but there's something he never counted on my mate. Over a year ago, he exiled her, believing she was weak, but he's about to learn something very important about my mate. Her impure breeding isn't a weakness, it's a strength that none of us can match. Their scent hits us long before we arrive at the border bitter wrong, tainted with the dark magic that he's been wielding like a blade. They make no move to attack when we approach, but I see the shift in his expression when he sees Isla recognition and something darker hatred. So, this is where you ended up after we cast you out? Isla doesn't cower, she doesn't so much and blink, but after a moment passes, a wicked smirk curls the corner of her lip and her head does that adorable tilt. She looks like she's inspecting something that might be cute or maybe foolish, but then she speaks and makes it clear that she weighed his worth and found him lacking. Wow, Eros. I remember thinking of you as the boogeyman in my nightmares, but now I see you for what you are. I used to think you were strong, someone to be feared. But you're nothing, just a shell of a creature who once thought they were worth something. Hell, you couldn't even handle achieving power by your own strength. You had to employ the help of some sad, soulless leech to even make it this far. It's sad, really. He snarls at her, but I see it now too, he's hollow. A wolf held together by the effort, blood and work of others, while never having lifted a finger himself. I should have ended you a year ago. She doesn't let him finish. Something he clearly wasn't expecting. Aw, but you didn't. So, I see the puppet, but where's the one pulling your strings, Eros? Where's the one with the real power here? Because we all know that's not you. His face flushes red, and his fists clench tightly at his sides. I'm going to rip your throat out, you mixed-breed bitch. Cain unleashes a deep, rage-filled growl, but Isla just chuckles as she shakes her head. Well, you can certainly try. But you and I both know you don't have it in you. If you did, you would have killed me a long time ago. I'll only ask one more time. Where's Orion? He assumes an attack stance and growls, but Isla only rolls her eyes in response. Very well, have it your way. She holds out her hand, palm facing Eros, and begins chanting something I can't quite understand. My eyes narrow. Eros's eyes widen, and then a ring of fire bursts from the ground, trapping him. I hear Margaret's laughter, quickly followed by the laughter of our fighters, as the flames lower just enough to give us a view of Eros and his purple mane of hair. Don't worry, this time it was intentional. Last chance, Eros. Where's Orion? I see it in his eyes. He has no plans to tell her, but when he opens his mouth, a different voice speaks before he can. I was warned by the Dark Ones that I would be facing a powerful witch, yet your attack is a poorly executed makeover? Eros purple is really not your color. We watch as a tall, slender wisp of a woman steps out of the shaws, almost like she had wrapped them around herself like a damn shield. The woman has pale, almost gray skin, eyes that look to be a milky white black hair that hangs lifelessly and looks dull and brittle, but it's her body that makes my stomach churn. Her entire body, from her head to her feet, is skeletal, like the skin was wrapped tightly around her bones. Good goddess, woman. Damn, Margaret, when you told me about spiritual decay caused by dark magic, you didn't mention that the body literally starts to decay too. That's just, ugh, lady. You look disgusting. You need to eat something. Something other than the souls of the innocent, like carbs, lots of carbs. Isla has all of our men laughing, and even my lips curl into a reluctant smile. You have a sharp tongue, but that won't save you here. Mutt. I catch the movement from the back of the line of Eros's fighters' wolves, moving into new positions. I link Ethan to let him know, and I have no doubt he'll track their movements while I remain by my mate's side. I don't need my sharp tongue to save me. You won't be leaving here alive, Orion. Today, You'll receive the death that should have been your punishment too many years ago. Now, are you done talking? I have shit to do. Orion's movements are quick, unnaturally so. She waves her hands in front of her, then thrusts them forward, sending a swirling black ball of mist straight for us. But it only reaches the border before ricocheting off of an unseen barrier and flying right into Eros. We all watch with wide eyes as Eros is flung nearly 200 feet, but he lands on his knees and quickly rises to his feet. I can see how unsteady his legs are and the pain he's trying to hide behind a mask of confidence that's too cracked to hold for long. How cute a barrier spell. Do you really think that would stop me? Isla takes a step away from me, drawing my attention to her with a sharp turn of my head. She looks too calm, too steady, but then I see a ripple of her muscles as Ivy comes to the surface. No, it was never meant to stop you. It did exactly what it was meant to do. It distracted you. Her voice isn't loud, just steady, firm, but sure. That's the moment the air around us shifts, crackling with energy as storm clouds roll in at an impossible speed, and thunder cracks in the distance. You foolish beast! They can't save you. Attack! In the blink of an eye, Isla shifts, and Ivy steps forward, her silver fur already ablaze with the purple flames. We all follow suit, shifting and charging into the fray, ready to finally put an end to this. Ivy moves fluidly, meeting the enemy head-on, with Cain and I remaining at her side as we mow down Eros's army, one wolf at a time. I get my first glimpse of the new arrivals, the Grand Coven, all easily identified by their gray robes with the teal sash around their waists. As Cain rips the throat out of one of Eros's wolves, I see Isla veer to the right, and I catch the movement of the witch, Orion, as she tries to make her escape in during the height of the battle. We follow close behind her, ensuring that she never leaves our sight. We reach the cave where Valerie and Karina had met with Eros that night, and the witch slips inside, vanishing into the shadows. Unlike that night, we're not hiding, and Ivy's flames are burning brighter than ever as we make our way inside. The cave runs deeper than I thought, several hundred feet, but we find both Eros and Orion waiting for us at the end. You're just as pathetic as your mother, thinking you're better than me, just because you were born with power rather than having to drain it from others. She was foolish to think she could beat me, and her arrogance is what made it so damn easy to kill the bitch. Orion's voice lacks the confidence she had at the border, but Isla doesn't take the bait. You take your uncle. The witch, she's mine. Her voice in my mind isn't calm, but more of a level fury. It's the tone you use when you've decided to stop playing the game and end it instead. On it. Be safe. Ivy gives a single nod of her head, but her eyes never leave her target. Ivy leaps seconds before Cain does, her fur bathed in the purple flames and her eyes glowing brightly. Ending Eros is easy, but I had known it would be. Isla was right about him. He was weak and gained his power from the work of others. As the bastard draws his last breath, I turn to find my mate, her jaws wrapped around the witch's right arm as the flames scorch and char her flesh, causing her to scream in agony. She doesn't make it quick, but the filthy parasite doesn't deserve quick either. By the time the screams have faded to silence and Ivy's flames have dulled, Orion lies in pieces on the cave floor, her blood and Eros's mixing in the dirt beneath our feet. Ivy nudges Cain with her nose, then turns and leads the way out of the cave and into the daylight. They're waiting for us, the entire pack, the visiting fighters, Margaret and the Grand Coven. While some have sustained injuries, none have fallen. Here, let's protect your modesty. Margaret steps forward, setting a backpack between Cain and Ivy. Then she holds up a blanket to shield us as we shift and change into the clothes she had packed for us. Amber Claw, the enemy has fallen. Eros and Orion are dead, and the threat is gone. My dad's shouted announcement is met with cheers from our pack, while the coven members offer subdued smiles and nods of their head. Michelson, we would like to formally offer you a place among the coven. It was your mother's seat, and, by birthright, it's now yours to claim. My mate looks at the Grand Coven leader, and does what no other would dare to thanks. But I'm happy right where I am. I have a great teacher, and this is my family. Our pack lands are my home. The leader bows and the others quickly follow suit. Then they turn and walk away. Come on. I think we can use a bath and a nap. I can hear the exhaustion in my own voice. But Isla chuckles and wraps her arms around me, making me feel instantly alert and undeniably happy. You say nap, but I'm thinking more of a 2-day hibernation. Let's get out of here. I'm ready to go home.
Chapter 18. Epilogue. Epilogue. Isla, 8 years later. Oh goddess. Julia, not again. You turn that tree right side up right now. I can't even keep the seriousness in my tone since I'm already laughing. But she does as she's told. Okay, Mama. She's mastered the puppy dog eyes perfectly. Lucian and I have been leading the pack for 7 years now, while his parents split their time between traveling and doting on their grandchildren. Julia, my little mini-me, is our oldest at 6 years old, and has already shown a great level of skill where her magic is concerned, if you don't count the upside-down trees, and the poor bunny she turned orange that still hops around the yard every morning. Like mother, like daughter. Our youngest is Dorian, a rambunctious little heathen who takes after his dad completely. He's 3 years old and is far too serious for his own good. I often find myself thinking back to the beginning, not the fighting and the strained mate bond, but the beginning of the peace we created through blood and tears. The day we ended Eros and his little witch, it was truly the beginning of the future I had never dared believe I could have. A few weeks after the dust had settled, we had a surprise visit from the Grand Coven leader, and they sat down with me and Luna Aurelia to tell me about my mother. Finding out that she was one of the most powerful in the coven, and that she gave up her seat with them to be with my father, it made it impossible to regret my decision to do the same. While the coven leader was able to tell me about my mother's achievements and talents, Luna Aurelia was able to tell me about her kindness, devotion, and compassion. I learned that she was strong, but more importantly, she was honest, she was real. Before the coven leader left, he helped to ward the pack's property against enchantments and dark spirits. Then he helped Margaret and I craft charms for every member of our pack. It might have been overkill, but they didn't question me when I requested it. Margaret, just like when she first appeared in my life, stuck around for a few weeks after the battle ended, then she was gone. No words, no note, just gone. She, somehow, was present for the birth of both of our children, and was here for the ascension ceremony, but she's never stuck around for long. My mate, the amazing beast he is, did, indeed, prove to every single pack member that he's exactly the alpha this pack needs. He showed them he'd sacrifice for them, fight for them, and in the end, he showed them he most certainly isn't the monster that the enchantment made them believe he was. Not a single wolf transferred out of our pack. In fact, we had a sudden influx of requests to join us by other hybrids from other packs, and the requests haven't stopped coming. We're having to report the building additions and updated member information to the council quarterly now instead of yearly, but it's worth it. Our pack of around 460 is no sitting at just over 700, making us the second biggest pack in the nation. Looking at what we've achieved, at what my life has become, I realized that what I had once thought was misfortune in my life was actually just the goddess guiding me down the path she chose for me. Sure, some of the local wildlife might have suffered a little, a few boulders displaced, a tree or two overturned by magic gone haywire, and, as Margaret likes to remind me every time she visits, an old witch got an unwanted makeover, but it all led me here, it brought me home.
And that brings us to the end of this story. Thank you for listening all the way through. We hope this audiobook kept you entertained and left you wanting more. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what kind of stories you'd like to hear next. There are plenty more full audiobooks waiting for you here, so be sure to check out the channel for your next great listen. Until next time, happy listening.